And yes, are we ready? Right now on 710, we're taking off with 9 hours of live and local LA sports talk.
The home of the 9-hour LA sports mega block.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
We call it the LAX, LA Sports Mega Block. Of course, powered every day by LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, where change arrives daily. Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, LA.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! Come on. How you feeling this morning, Slee? Buenos dias. Roar to you.
First off, that's literally none of your business of how I'm feeling.
No?
Okay? I'm feeling
wanted to
good,
check
man.
in.
Listen,
Good.
let me just, T-Raj, we finally did it. I finally got when you actually texted me your home address, there was a moment there where I said, this is it.
Well,
I mean, and I respect how you took your time on this. You did not want to make any quick knee-jerk reaction type of decision. But when that address came in, and I knew I could put it into my phone. And
it was a real address.
And at any time, I could stop by. Because that's what Susan told me. She said, anytime. I don't know if she told me that, but that's what I thought I heard.
That's what you remember?
That she said you could come by anytime, Al. Anytime. Anytime you want to sit with Trav and just have a cold one,
you've got it
down.
Now. There's nothing I can do. You could show up at any point, knock on my door, and be in my
case. Just in case.
It was funny because when we were getting ready to leave on Friday, Mason said, yeah, I may come. And I'm like, okay. And so, great. A few hours goes by. It was probably 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on Friday night. And he texts me, and he says, hey, I really think I'm going to come. Shoot me your address. I'm like, okay, that is a buying signal.
Momentum was building right there.
The I need your address is not a. I just said it. I'll say no later.
It's a buying signal.
It is. It's a buying signal that I'm asking for the address, because if you never ask for the address, you never had any intention of coming, right?
True.
So he texts me Saturday morning. He's like, hey, listen. Little far, not happening.
I put in your address into my phone. Yeah, that's not happening.
And if I'm being honest, it's kind of what I expected. I kind of thought that he would, say, it's kind of far away to go, and it's a long way home and everything else. So no big deal. But you have it, and now you can come whenever you want. How many tacos did you eat?
What a fun time on Saturday.
It was good. I had a great time.
You know what was awesome too is really why we were trying to get together was for the football game, right?
Yeah.
SC Notre Dame.
Didn't watch much.
What was really cool about that is you didn't have to stress about the game.
Nope.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Nope.
That there was never a time that thought, never a time that you thought, how many I'm going to just walk everybody through. Travis is a really good host. The Roger family is a very, very good host.
Thank you.
Right when I got there, Jorge, I know you're kind of going through the same exact thing. There's a lot of, hey, what can I get you to drink? There's a lot of options.
I like to make sure everybody's hooked up.
To your right, you got basically a full liquor cabinet. I thought I was at a liquor store, basically. You had every drink that you need that could complement the liquor.
The mixers.
That was there as well. Then you walk out the patio. The screen door never shut. The screen door was basically like, listen, inside, outside, welcome to Mikasa.
Sure.
That's kind of what it was. And then to your left, couple nice coolers that had clearly been set there for a long time.
Did you see my coolers? Can I get a little respect for Jorge? Come on, man.
I needed a code. Remember? Hey, how the hell do I open this cooler?
I'm like, you pull down and you open it up.
Like I don't have those. Man. That's a fancy cooler.
Let me just ask you.
Beers are cold.
Did you guys have? Did you have a beer?
I had.
Did you have a beer,
beers?
I did.
Pretty cold, right?
Can I go a
really
step
cold.
further? which they don't usually get the respect here. You want a Topo Chico?
Yeah.
What do you think? That's not going to be ice cold like the beers? No, that's going to be ice cold like the beers.
Not an animal. I'm going to make sure that everything's properly chilled.
2 coolers. Ice on the top, too, just in case you need some more ice. Maybe you're making a mixed drink. Whatever it was, compliments to the Roger household.
It was great. I had a really good time. Jorge brought ceviche that got absolutely demolished. And my man Flavio had the what's that grill called?
It's a grill, whatever.
The one with the dome.
It has a dome.
It has the dome where you cook the meat on the dome and then you slide it off to the side. It was wonderful. I have enough meat to feed another 600 people.
I believe
so. That's exciting.
I believe
enough rice and beans to feed another 6,000 people.
We'll come over today.
I also believe you.
Oh my gosh!
I also believe you.
Yeah, he made a lot of food. A lot of food.
I'm disappointed in
and I
myself.
went deep on the tacos.
I'm disappointed in myself. I didn't do rice and beans.
Nothing?
I had
So you're the reason I have all that left.
I had 5 tacos, bro.
Did you really? I had 5 too.
tacos.
That's how many I had.
5 tacos.
Yeah, well, I had 5 on Saturday. I also had many more tacos when I got home from the Rams game last night.
Any breakfast tacos?
No. Breakfast was not really happening for me yesterday morning. That was.
It would have been awesome if you went hard this morning with just loading up with rice and beans at 5:50 in the morning.
Rice and beans, perfect.
So, Jorge.
By the way, you crack a couple eggs on those.
Oh, for sure. We had pastor, pollo, and asada.
Asada, yeah.
Guess what's gone?
Asada.
Asada gone. It's the only thing that got everybody ate. There's only a couple of spoonfuls left of the asada, but there's multiples of the others.
Ready? Pet Store was the best taco there.
It was good. I thought so too.
That was the best taco there.
Yeah.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I went ham on the had 4 of those, and then 2 tostadas with ceviche in it.
Yeah.
Like 6 beers, and
You probably got carne asada, but you didn't even touch it. I just want to.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I was like, I'm good. Cool. I'll have the pastor. Talk about how Chris and I entered through the side of the house.
So I'm sitting in my living room, right, and we're watching the TV,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden there's windows on, like where I'm sitting. I'm looking at the TV.
And just
to
to
my
give
right,
everybody
there's
an
windows.
idea, Travis has 6 acres of land
Yeah, right.
in an area that only has about 5.5 acres total.
You basically could walk through my neighbor's kitchen when you're going down that side path. That's how close the houses are together. But I just see this flash of pink go by the window to the side of a house.
Yep.
And I didn't get like my own 2 eyes on it because it went by. And my buddy Greg is like, yeah, I think that's Morales. I'm like, why did they go down the side? Why didn't they? The front door was literally wide open.
I would have called the cops if I saw Chris in that shirt. I'd have just called the cops right away.
The thing is, we showed up to the wrong house, right? We showed up to a different house. I guess it's the old house.
It's the old house.
So we show up to this house, and I was like, dude, that's
Now,
his
just
house.
just for the record, the old house is 9 years ago. I've been in this house for 9 years.
I don't know why.
I don't
You
even
guys
know-
have been
I
to
don't know
this
why that
place
address
in.
popped up.
Yeah, I don't know how you ended up at
I
that
told
other
Chris,
place.
put the address.
amazing.
Chris puts the address. We go there, and he's like, I dropped them off here like 2 weeks or 3, like 2 months ago when we had the thing at Michael's house.
Right.
So then I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's his car. I know that's his car. And he's like, are you sure, bro? I don't think so. I'm like, yeah, let's go knock on the door. Here, let me park first. He's like, no, I'm not getting off. I'm not knocking on the door. I'm going to go call him first. So he calls you. Hey, man, we're at this house. You're like, no, that's the old house. You guys are 5 minutes away. Can you imagine we get off, we knock on the door?
Hey,
Dude,
you showed up with that giant tray of ceviche. They probably would have invited you
Well,
in.
hey,
Yeah,
100%.
oh, hey, no,
100%.
they're going to meet us here later. Yeah, come on in. Come on in.
So just so I get it right, the old house you still own, but you don't use it.
It's vacant.
The new house is so he could have walked in technically to the new house,
Yeah, sure.
or the old house, just nobody would have been there.
Yeah, that old house, I had a landlord in that house, and she's not great. So that if you knocked on her door, I don't think she would have liked that.
I'm surprised because of how close. You're talking about all the neighbors are so close.
Yeah.
That Big E just wasn't at every neighbor's house. I thought we were going to see Big E 100%.
So the reason they came down the side is
It was open.
and you had a ceviche
A tray that was
blowout.
leaking. Yes.
Like it
My
started.
car, dog. My car smelled so.
Oh, no.
Okay, wait. Was it in like the back seat on the floor?
It was in the back seat on the floor, but it had 3 bags. I made sure, like, I knew it was going to
The
spill.
plastic grocery bags.
Yeah, grocery bags. So I put it in 3 or 4 layers of grocery bags.
Okay.
And it's still with the movement and, just, it leaked everywhere. So now I had the smell of it. So I get to his house.
Yeah.
And Chris couldn't wait to get off the car because it smelled like shrimp in there.
No, because when I went up to say hi to Chris, the smell coming from Chris, I'm like,
You didn't get your normal refreshing
Yeah, I'm like,
cologne vibe from Morales?
Did you spray ceviche on your neck?
Onions, jalapeno, and shrimp.
So then I get the hose and I'm in the front yard.
It's
and
the
I'm
best
like
smell I've
hosing
ever
down.
smelled. I'm like, Chris, come closer.
So I had to air out my car, left the windows down, and and then there's no parking.
There's a lot of cars on the street.
Right.
Yeah.
So then at one point I'm like, hey Chris, I'm just gonna park here, bro. He's like, no, like there's trash cans. Well, I'm gonna
Trash
move them.
cans we learned are picked up on Friday, right?
The trash day is Friday.
Trash day is Friday,
Yeah.
so they still had their trash.
My neighbors had still had their trash cans out.
So I move them, and Chris is like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, well, watch me. I moved them and I parked there. Like, hey, it's a big deal.
It's pretty funny.
Very successful evening. Very successful.
Brownies. Hey, the pastries, the brownies.
All
and stuff.
there were 3 dessert items. We had lemon bars,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. Brownies, wonderful. And Sliwa brought baklava, and it was. I had both the tube shape and the little Danish shape one. Both of them.
This is what you kept saying to me as the night went on. You know, Sliwa, I only tried that one time. Let me go ahead and try that one again. Let me try that lemon bar one more time.
Oh, the lemon bars.
Okay, so the place
murdered.
there's a lot of different great options. You know, wherever you go, Middle Eastern food out here. But Armen Market, it's an Armenian market up in. It's actually technically
Glendale, right?
It's Pasadena. But Atwater, kind of like that, or not Atwater. Give me the
Silver Lake?
Altadena.
Okay.
That kind of border there. But that's where I got them from. Really good.
They were very good.
Yeah, really
and we have like half of the little plastic box that came in left, which means tomorrow there will be more baklava eaten when I drive. Today was a little bit of a slow start for me.
I get coffee. Alan's like, man, coffee looks good, bro.
Oh, that's right.
I wanted to get some coffee.
Jorge and I might be the only ones that
dinner, and then you have to have coffee, or
bro.
whatever.
And if you have a sweet, if you have anything that's
coffee.
sweet, I'm like, yeah, I'll go ahead and just get a cup of coffee with that at 8 p.m.
He says to me, he goes,
Decaf?
I said, can I get you
No.
something? And he goes, can I get a coffee? I said, what? Can I get a coffee? I'm like, it sounded like you said coffee. What do you want?
Yeah,
coffee. I'm like,
Trying to get the day started.
I can make you a coffee, sure.
Yeah, I'm going hard on those brownies, dog. I need coffee.
Did you fall asleep on the couch, Jorge?
No,
didn't even sit on it.
We,
Yeah, we're
we didn't even
outside.
go
we were
outside.
outside most of the night. We
Weather
sat
was
outside
perfect.
in the
It's a cool
backyard. It was a nice night.
Do you have like a setup outside to watch the game and then set up inside to watch
You
the
can
game?
kind of see it through the kitchen window, but
okay.
the game sucked.
terrible.
So we really didn't end up watching too much
Yeah.
of the game.
But Emily, just to give you an idea, you ever been to like the setup he had outside? You ever been to like the Four Seasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know where they have the restaurant, the
Yeah.
fancy
Of course,
lights
of
hanging.
course.
Yep, and
Very
then,
similar.
Yeah.
It's just waiters coming left and
You know,
right.
my staff was really on top of it that night.
With some finger food.
Yeah,
tossing
the
around.
Wore a robe all night. He was wearing a robe.
The staff consisted of me and Susan. That's the staff. That's the
Does
staff.
Susan bake? So what is your like party? How do you guys share the party duties? Do you cook? She bakes. What's kind of the
He charges on his credit card and brings Fabio over.
It's true. Yeah, I forgot
We
you guys
did.
had that.
Flavio did most of the heavy lifting. I set up the coolers. She kind of cleaned up the house. I set up the TVs and that kind of stuff, and we kind of split it. She made the lemon bars and the brownies. It was
lovely.
It was good. It was a good night. It was a good night,
She is a great host. Both
but
of you
not
guys
as
were.
good as me
Yeah.
though, right?
Did anybody?
She
Did
was
anybody stay
definitely
too
better
long?
than you.
No, we
Okay.
it actually broke up kind of early.
Yeah.
Right? It was what was
The game sucked.
No, he looked at his
I'd be
watch.
lying if I said I knew what time it was.
He
when
looked
you
at
guys-
his watch at one point. Dude, can you believe it's barely 7:30? Like, what the hell?
Well, yeah, that's
I
because
think I left around 9.
yeah.
So you guys
nobody
probably left
nobody
around.
was there past 10.
No.
No, it was perfect.
Did you do the pizza? You know.
No, because there was so
We're
much
about
food.
to.
Em.
We were about to.
There was so much food. Like a pizza would have been irresponsible.
This is my favorite
That's why you
part.
get it.
right.
My favorite part of watching Jorge, he said that he needed to like pace to just start to walk off some of that
Yeah, I was
food.
walking
I'm with
around.
you, bro.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe. It's good food.
I had a bowl of rice and beans after I had
Sure.
more tacos last night, so I'm really light on my feet today.
Yeah.
Feeling like I'm ready to attack the day. That as much as I love that, so I had it on Saturday.
Yeah.
And on Sunday, there's a 98% chance I'm going to eat it for lunch when I get home today. And then I think I'm going to have to pump the brakes for at least one day and then come back. I'll have a salad at some point for dinner, and then it'll be like, I'm back.
One day is your.
I'm back.
Yeah, to reset, man. One
Yeah.
day to reset.
And it's not even the tacos; it's the rice and the meat because it's so good. Put a little of the salsa on top of it, kind of mix it.
Red salsa
Yeah,
had a
bring some
nice,
tomorrow. We'll
had a
bring
nice
some
spice to it.
tomorrow.
Terrific night. All right, Caleb Williams did not have a good night. USC had a worse night, and it may just be getting started for them. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And for the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest question. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
So Big E on the Travis and Sliwa community. Did Trav charge a resort fee? What was it for you to get in?
Oh, I had a coupon, so
Yeah,
it
you
was
had a coupon?
yeah,
I
2 for 1.
downloaded
He's a
the app.
frequent flyer. We punched his
Exactly.
card when he came in.
I downloaded the app, and they said it doesn't matter. That's $75.
Hey, did you have an issue getting through the gate?
Yeah, I couldn't get through
Yeah,
the gate. I had to
no
call.
problem.
Michael
What
let
about
me
the
in.
swimming across the moat?
The security is so tight that they just walked into my backyard.
Your front door was wide open. By the way,
Yeah, the front door. I left it open because I didn't want to keep getting up to
Yeah.
people knocking on the door. So I just opened the double doors and come on in, and they come down the side with the trash cans and the broken TV.
So the security guard at the gate. And when I'm walking there, I roll down my window. He's like, "Dog smells like shrimp. Keep going, keep going."
just keep that car away from my shack, right?
are you sure? I wasn't surprised you brought a bag of chips and said, what's going on back here?"
Those tostadas that he brought,
Yeah.
because they're a little bit thicker than a chip, a
Yeah.
little bit sturdier. It was a good day.
I might have given, of everything that happened, one compliment I gave to Susan about the house. Which one do you think was the one where she just, I think, was so happy and excited?
This is the first I've heard of this, and I know exactly what you're talking about. The Halloween decorations. Because Al, you don't understand. I had to literally call off the dogs as she was getting around. I'm like, hey, can you just give me till the end of Saturday? She's like, I'm going to put some. That's some of it.
I want people
Some
to
of
know.
it.
I want people to 1,000%. I didn't hint you on
Nothing.
anything.
And I knew.
I just thought of it, and when it was all going on,
Did you
'cause she's
see
got
the
a lot of
the
decorations.
double wreaths on my front door? Two Halloween themed wreaths on my
Everything.
front door.
She was so happy that I complimented it.
I'm sure she was.
Very nice.
It is nice, but there's a point where it goes from being nice to, hey, listen, this isn't
Where
a
do
second
we-
grade classroom. We can dial this back a hair.
Where do we put all this when October 31st is done?
In the bins.
Yeah.
You see that? You didn't get into the garage by chance, did you?
No, I didn't have the.
Yeah, you're lucky because you might have been trapped under an avalanche of bins.
I couldn't find parking either. I wanted to park in the garage, but I didn't know how to get the door open.
Did you see the hole that Michael put in the garage from when he was hitting off the tee during the pandemic?
Oh, that's good.
And punched 2 holes through the garage door.
Like,
Dude,
Michael.
you got to put the net a little bit closer to you because the net will go.
Atta baby, Michael.
Yeah, so anyway,
I have a tweet from Never Lost Roamer, again, also in the Travis and Sliwa Show community. If you aren't in there, add to it. But he says, I want to hear if Travis Rogers threw a taco in total disgust when the Irish were humiliating the Trojans.
no, because it was never close. You know what I mean? It got off to such a bad start that Caleb Williams threw 3 interceptions in the first half. It was never a competitive
I think the
game.
turnovers was 5-0.
Yeah, it was a mismatch, quite frankly. And look, SC's a good team. I don't think they're a great team, but it's their first loss of the season. They got beat up by a team that was ready for them. Their very best player played poorly by his standards, by any standards, really. And USC got exposed for what's been coming their way for weeks.
Yeah.
They might only have 1 loss, but that could easily be a 3-loss team. Arizona had them dead to rights, right? That was a game that it felt like they were going to win. Colorado nearly pulled a miracle out of their hat and beat them with that second half comeback. And by the way, as we see more and more, Colorado's not very good.
Yeah.
They're okay. They don't stink, but they're not a good team. SC's got Utah coming up next, then Cal, then Washington and SC, or Washington and Oregon in back-to-back weeks. This did not just say, okay, well, you can lose one. This is the beginning of them having a season that's going to end with 2, 3, 4 losses.
First ranked opponent that they've played against. I think at the time Colorado may have been ranked, but at least of right now, looking at the rankings, it's the first ranked opponent that they played against. Last week we were talking about style points.
Yeah.
Does SC have to put on some style points against Notre Dame? What I was trying to say is just walk away with a win. Just make sure you walk away with a win, because what Saturday told a little bit more of a story that I think we already knew, but their record would not indicate that.
Yeah.
Saturday was when you go up against a real opponent or an opponent that Notre Dame's not top 10 in the country. This is just a Notre Dame team that has a couple losses.
They lost 2 of their last 3 coming in.
But they're a good enough team where they could definitely beat USC.
Sure.
They dominated the game. And you said something about Caleb Williams. There's a couple ways to look at SC's loss on Saturday. one way you could look at it and say, Caleb Williams just did not have a good game. He didn't play well. He had 3 picks, and he didn't carry. That's what you expect your best player to carry you against an opponent like Notre Dame in South Bend. The other way to look at it is basically he has to play perfect football for them to win 43-41 against Arizona. He has to play perfect football for them to win 48-41 against Colorado.
Yep.
He has to play perfect football if USC is going to win a game against somebody that's not ranked.
Like Arizona State.
What happens then when he has a bad game against a good team? You lose 48-20.
You lose by 4 touchdowns is what happens. You lose by – it wasn't just that they lost. They lost by 4 touchdowns. And it really, quite frankly, didn't feel that close. It felt like it could have been 6 touchdowns. It didn't matter. SC never had a shot. I agree with you. It's what we were talking about this morning. I think if anything, Caleb Williams made an even more impressive case for how good of a football player he is by playing as badly as he did, if that makes any sense, because he has covered up so many warts on that team. Offensive line warts, certainly defensive line warts, special teams warts. That this is a team that has real problems. It's just that you have such a talented player at quarterback that he was able to hide those things. And the second he had a bad game, you get housed. You get beat by 4 touchdowns. And really, it's the first thing. They lost to Utah twice. They lost to Tulane last year. The first Utah regular season loss, he was brilliant. It had nothing to do with him. The Pac-12 championship game, he got hurt. The Tulane game, I don't think anybody wanted to be there.
Nobody cared. It was over.
This is the first time it's like, oh, he was genuinely had a bad night. Happens. It's not a big deal. But you saw how much more mortal USC looked. That doesn't – you watch Oregon and Washington this weekend. I know we're going to get to that coming up a little bit later. Those are good football teams.
Yeah, it is.
Both of them really, really good.
Yeah.
SC, they might win one of the 2 games they have against them, but SC's not on that level right now. They got a long way to go, defense, special teams, and I want to play this for you because this is Lincoln Riley afterwards saying we're still very much in it, and I couldn't agree any less.
College football is a week-to-week thing, man. I mean, it's the matchups change, who's available changes. I mean, everything can change. I mean, like tonight, we're going to go back and watch this tape, and then there's a couple things in the first half, I mean, that are all of a sudden you make 1 or 2 of those and the whole thing changes. Like the margins are so thin, and I know it's difficult to explain and maybe sometimes difficult to understand on the outside, but when you're on the road against a good football team, those are things you got to do, and when you don't do them, it can go south quickly. And so, but the reality is we are a team that is capable of those things. I know that we are, and a lot of those errors tonight are it's a good football team we played, and give them credit. They played better than us tonight, but there's a lot of errors that we made that were totally on us, and a lot of opportunities that were there that I know we can make. And I think if we'll make a couple more of those and get the momentum back that we're capable of as a program and as a team. Listen, one big win against a really good football team here next week, and this whole thing feels different, and that's just the nature of the game.
I mean, it might be difficult for you to understand.
You noticed that too, huh?
I don't know if you know.
You noticed that too,
but
huh?
It might be difficult for you to understand.
Boy, is there a way? Is there a phrase that will more quickly turn somebody off than? I know this is hard for you to understand. What? I have to be a genius to understand that your quarterback throwing 3 picks is complicated.
Can we get just that as a drop? I know it's difficult for you to understand.
Come on, man. This wasn't, we're 1 or 2 plays away. You lost by 4 touchdowns. What do you mean you're 1 or 2 plays away? What do you mean? What's hard to understand about a 4-touchdown loss?
Let's actually take that the other way. Listen, I'm not trying to make any case here. Lincoln Riley's not the right coach for SC. That's not what this is.
No.
But when he came in, there was this rah-rah, if you remember, at the Coliseum, and the president's introducing him. And listen, it was a big deal. And no one's questioning that. It was a very, very big deal. And since he's been here, he has changed the expectations,
Absolutely.
The program, all of that stuff.
100% agree.
But I don't know if we're sitting here in a few weeks and we're talking about, wait a minute, it was better last year than it is this year, that you're going the other way. And by the way, Caleb Williams, you're not going to have the best player in college football in a few months or whatever the case is. I know it takes time to build things, but they could very easily, we could be sitting here in just a few weeks saying last year's season was a lot better than this year's because it only says one loss on their schedule, but I think you need to read into in between those details.
I like what you said, too. This was the first team they played all season long. You say, Notre Dame's good. How good? I don't know. But they're somewhere between good to very good.
They're going to be challenging.
They're going to be in the mix.
They got good wins.
They've got some good. They're good. Oregon's good. Washington is maybe very good, maybe like CFP good.
National championship, maybe.
They're terrific. They got a quarterback. They got a good coach. Utah is good.
Plays good football.
UCLA had a clunker. But UCLA is not a bad football team. They got a really good defense. Can they get back in it? Of course they can. But to run the table with all of those, they've really only got one game left on their schedule with Cal that you look at and say, okay, that's when you can kind of catch your breath with a little bit. Mm-hmm. Other than that, every time they go out there, they're going to be in an incredibly challenging environment.
Yeah, but you don't.
Do I not understand?
Yeah, it's just I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to do the argument with you.
If I don't understand, I don't understand. What do you want from me?
You don't get it.
I guess it's just too stupid to get that 4 touchdowns is much closer than it looks like.
I set the over/under of losses for USC at 2.5.
Yeah, that's the number.
Would you take the over?
That's good bookieing right there, by the way, Emily.
Going over.
You going over?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the under because I think it's 2. I think it's 2.
Well, listen,
Oregon, Washington. Or do you think they get one of those?
I think they get one of them. I think they and the weird one is I think because the Washington game is in L.A. at the Coliseum, in Autzen is a really hard place to play.
Sure,
it's a tough. So Oregon at home, they got Utah at home. These are games at SC at the Coliseum is better than when they're on the road.
I think I asked you this question.
I understand that.
I think I do. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna write it down.
Please.
I think I asked you this question last week. Are they going to have 1 loss or 3 losses? You got to pick between the 2. And I said I think they're going to end up with 3.
Between those 2, I would pick 3. But if you gave me 1, 2, or 3,
sure.
I think I'd take 2.
In that middle.
3. They're going to lose again. For sure.
I would be impressed if they finished this season off and they only had 2 losses. I'd be impressed. Now, 2 losses can also mean that you're not in the Pac-12 championship and you're on the outside looking in.
We got our first edition of Emily's College Football Corner coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. You guys all saw it. You saw my beautiful Rotolo Chevrolet, the Silverado, parked majestically in my driveway. Came from Rotolo. Why wouldn't it be awesome? If you're looking for that new Silverado, if you're looking for any sort of Chevy car or truck, get yourself out to Rotolo Chevrolet. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, because here's what you're going to get. You're going to have an unbelievable selection. Every make, model, and color you can think of, they got it at Rotolo Chevrolet. The pricing, they're not going to get beat on the pricing. But the customer service, it is second to none. It's what Mike Capozio does. You see Mike on TV. He's dancing with Oral and all the guys. He's an unbelievable devotee to customer service. Everybody from Mike to Eddie to Frank to Armando to all of the guys that I've met out there, to Michael, Jabari, Owen, all of these guys. Customer service is the number one priority. You're going to have the experience of your lifetime. That's how they're Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. It's how they're number one in sales volume year after year after year by being courteous, by being respectful, upfront, transparent. You're going to love it. Rotolo Chevy online, ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
The return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Monday.
your Monday, and it's time for our new Monday feature. It's time for Producer Emily's College Football Corner. Take it away, Producer Em.
All right, y'all. We're going to start off in the Pacific Northwest, where one of the two losses for USC may come from, and that is with Washington defeating Oregon 36-33. So it started off the day with College Game Day.
Oh, so
was
good.
in Seattle for the Washington game, and Joel McHale.
He was funny.
Was the guest picker. He was painted all gold and purple. I love Joel McHale. I was a big fan of Community. I love that he brought up that random husky. He was like, yeah,
somebody
I just brought
handed it to him when he got into the golf cart to like make his way to the set.
Yeah.
Somebody just handed him a dog.
And then he just brought it on, and he was trying to like make the dog
That's
a part of the thing.
Yeah.
And the dog did not necessarily always want it. Probably.
The dog liked McAfee. The dog kept pawing at McAfee. It was pretty funny.
And I'm sure the dog was very purple afterwards after hugging Joel McHale because he was shirtless and all that good stuff. But the game itself was fantastic. It was back and forth the entire time. I was watching it during while I was waiting in line for a lot of the day in Disney. And one great thing after this, too, is that both teams remain in the top 10, with Oregon at 9, Washington at 5. But I'm going to play the sound of the final missed field goal from Oregon to seal the win for Washington. And then I'm going to play Dan Lanning trying to explain some of his coaching decisions today. So here's the final call of the game.
It comes down to a field goal attempt here for the Ducks on the road to try to send it to OT.
Long way from home. He comes from Charlotte. Lewis, dead center. Kept it right there. From 42. Missed it! And the Huskies survive!
I think this game's 100% on me. I don't think you guys got to look anywhere else besides me. I think every one of us can look and look at the decisions that were made today. And again, if you can make some of those decisions differently, like I said, if you kick the field goal before half, you kick the field goal somewhere else, then it could have been a different result. You never know how the rest of the game's going to play out, so you make those decisions based on the information you have.
All right, so that was Oregon's head coach Dan Lanning after the game. And so what do you think of Dan Lanning's comments and his coaching during the game?
All right, first off, badass game. Great rivalry between two schools that unfortunately don't get the pub that some of the other schools get, but fantastic Saturday afternoon. I love how those two schools got the love, obviously, in the Pac-12, which exists for a couple more months. So with that in mind, Trav.
Good point.
With that in mind. Okay, I'm not going to look at the other calls. I'm not going to pay attention to the call before the end of the first half.
You should. Go ahead.
I'm only going to pay attention to the 4th and 3, Oregon with the ball. He clearly did not have confidence that if he gave the ball back to Washington, that Washington wasn't going to score. I'm actually okay in that situation saying, if I get one first down, the game is over.
But it's 4th and 3. You didn't even move it a yard.
I get it, but the game is over if I get one first down. That's it. The game, literally, we run out the clock, we win on the road in Washington. If I give the ball back to these guys, which, by the way, I don't know what was the distance. Once they didn't get to 4th and 3.
They had about 53 yards to go.
They got it in 2 plays.
Yeah.
And then Oregon came all the way back and put themselves in a spot to at least send the game to overtime. There's certain predicaments I'm okay with. I'm going to win or lose right here, and I'm going for the kill. I was okay with that call.
I hated it. I hated it for a variety of reasons. I mostly hated it because now we've confused the idea of being, we're an aggressive football team, and we go out there and we go for it. Yeah, but you're stupid.
Why are you talking like Staley?
Because it's this football mentality. We're an aggressive team. I have an aggressive mentality with my guys.
Is that a UCLA fan? What is
being
that? What is that
stupid
voice?
The new name for being aggressive? Take the damn points at the end of the half. Because
I don't disagree.
What he said was, you
you
never know what's going to happen. Exactly. Mm-hmm. You don't know what's going to happen, so put the damn points on the board. And again, you weren't on the 1-inch line. You had like 4 yards to go there. There's tight spaces. It's very hard to score in those situations. Take the points. Like he just said, I don't know what's going to happen next. Put him up there because if you make
even the points on the board, I can't argue. That one, I'm not here to argue that one.
If it's 4th and 1, fine. Let's go. I don't like it when it's a little bit more than a yard. 2 yards, maybe 3. No way. Because I get it. Oregon's defense gave up 53 yards in 2 plays. Make them go 80 yards at worst, right? Mm-hmm. If you can pin them deeper, maybe they got to go 85 or 90 or who knows how long it is. Make them run a series of plays. I know Washington's really good. Michael Penix Jr. is terrific. but they're college players. They make mistakes. They make bad decisions. And the more you make them run plays.
And they needed a touchdown.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. Make them run the distance of the entire field. I just don't understand. And he said he knew it. He knew it. That wasn't even one of those things that you can kind of deflect as well. You know, the second they didn't go for it at the end of or they did go for it at the end of the second quarter, it's okay, you're 3 points behind wherever you're supposed to be. They lost by 3 points.
Yeah.
Make them go 80 yards, 85 yards. I hated it. I like being aggressive, but understand the system, understand the situation of the game. Washington was in big trouble. They hadn't moved the ball a ton in the second half. If you really do believe in your defense, which is what he said, wouldn't you believe in that defense more over 85 yards as opposed to 50? It was an incredibly bad decision.
I think the thing that you said is the most important because it's happening right now in sports in general, but I think in football. What is the balance of saying this is when I'm aggressive, and what is the balance of saying, yeah, what am I doing here? Like, just let's play this out here. I don't have to be aggressive on every play. I don't have to be aggressive in every possession. I don't have to do that.
You know what this is a little bit like, and I'm going to stretch here a little bit, but I think it's close enough. It's a little bit like baseball analytics. Like, guys, I get it. I know that the math says go for it here. I know that you have a 53% chance of success, and if you kick it away, it's a 49% chance of success or whatever it is. But can we just not be so devoted to the analytics of it all and be a little more aware of what's situation, pressure,
pulse.
Analytics doesn't have any sort of pressure element built into it. That, okay, if you said to the Huskies, you want to go 50 yards or do you want to go 85? It's a no-brainer. Yeah, that's 35 yards that I need to cover. That's even with Oregon giving up chunks the way they did. It's at least another play or two. We still saw that they if the only good news of that whole thing is that they gave up that touchdown so quickly, they had a little time to drive back down the field. And the field goal was just far enough at 42 yards to make you go, this is far from a slam dunk. Pressure again, college kid.
Sure.
And I watch a lot of Oregon football. Camden Lewis he's not great. He's okay. He's just okay. And you knew that there was a chance. Of course he is.
I don't think they lost the game on the 4th and 3. I think they lost the game on some of the other decisions that they made and obviously a missed field goal. So.
It's the mentality of it all. Like, look, if they had kicked the ball at the end of the second quarter, if they had a couple other fourth down calls that didn't work out as well either, I'm okay with going for it occasionally, but the lunacy of guys like Brandon Staley and Dan Lanning who just decide that, nope, this is what we do. We go for it. You know what else you do? You just lost a game you probably shouldn't have lost.
You also, ruined a drive. You know, if you're the team, if you're the players in the field playing right there, instead of getting 3 or 6 there, you get nothing. And then it's deflating personally, I'm sure, for those players to be like, well, we did all that work and nothing.
You know what? You said it off the top, too, Em, and I agree with you. That Oregon only dropped a couple of spots, I think is exactly right.
It's indicative of the game that was played.
It was indicative of the game. It was indicative of the opponent. It was indicative of the fact that Oregon played pretty well. That they went into a really hostile environment and hung.
And it's almost as if they played 4 more times, you don't know who's going to win each time. It wasn't a one team.
They got a little bit of that SEC love, which is, when Alabama and Georgia play, whoever loses, they drop a spot or 2.
Yeah, they drop below the other undefeated.
Pac-12 team loses, it's, okay, you were 8 and you lost, okay, you're 7. SC dropped to 18.
Yeah.
And they should have. Like, that one is right, but for the first, like you said a second ago, Pac-12 is going to cease to exist in about 10 minutes, which is a real drag because clearly the people that are watching college football understand how good the league is this year. Yeah. It's legitimately good for the first time in quite some time.
Feinbaum was saying it. He is saying it's the best conference in the and it's, I don't think, it's not that it's not close, but it's closer than it's ever been, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get a TV deal or something.
I wish there was.
Remember there was a network called Pac-12 Network where no one had it or had the ability to watch the games?
This is the whole reason that this is happening is because the Pac-12 Network was such a debacle that no one could get it. That it just, there was nothing about it that worked the way the SEC network, the Big Ten network,
Sure,
even the ACC network. Like, they had some traction in places outside of their footprint.
See their games.
Just a joke.
And I know it's difficult to explain and maybe sometimes difficult to understand on the outside.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
We're just saying because of the TV deal. Like, we weren't. I think we sort of understood
There needs
it.
to be somebody somewhere that goes, you know what? I know that everybody's going to get richer for this, but this is just no. You got to go back. You got to redo the Pac-12.
If Lincoln Riley just said, I don't, I just want to be honest here, but you guys are all idiots. And I'm not an idiot.
Oh, he did say
I'm the
that.
one coaching. Don't you know?
So because I'm not an idiot, I don't want to talk to you.
As an idiot, can I ask a real quick question? Okay, this is clearly something that I don't understand. Why does USC not have a special teams coach? Is there a reason that I'm like, as an idiot, clearly I can't wrap my head around it.
I would want to answer that, but I don't because you're an idiot. So I don't want to stoop to your...
I need somebody to explain it to me as an idiot, put it in terms an idiot would understand. Why don't you have a special team?
They're using that money for the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, well, their special teams unit has been A+ so far this season. Wow. Ask Slee's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Is your vehicle due for service? If it is, head in your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Because for over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. No dragging the kids into a dirty waiting room, not at Valvoline. At Valvoline, you stay in your car safe. You stay in your car relaxed while your expert technicians make sure your ride is at its best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. With over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride on the road in no time. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Like we do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:45, Ask Slee. And Ask Slee is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
Slee, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through Ask Slee because I'm, as an idiot, I don't know if I can read several tweets in a row with understanding it.
I'm more of an idiot than you are.
And I know it's difficult to explain and maybe sometimes difficult to understand on the outside.
We're on the outside, so what do we know?
Idiots are people 3.
Exactly right. All right, Rich A. in the Trav and Slee All-Star community. Join the Trav and Slee All-Star community.
Yes.
Get on that. Was Trav's barbecue everything you hoped it would be and more, or was it a letdown?
It was more.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was more. I'll tell you. No, it was more. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you more. I'll tell you why it was more. I already kind of had, I don't know if high expectations, but I had pretty. I know the area that you're in. I know what comes with when you're bringing a taco guy and you're sending out photos 8 hours before that the cooler's already ready. I'm already walking in with high expectations. But then you sit down, met some of your friends that I haven't met. I know a few of them I have met before.
Yeah.
But getting a chance to sit out there, the weather was perfect.
It was a nice night.
The food was perfect.
It was good.
The conversations were perfect.
From what I recall, the conversation was nice.
When did you stop recalling? When did you stop recalling the conversation?
I don't know. At some point after Taco 4, I think. I was meat drunk.
You were great.
And
good,
Tequila
man.
Mandala drunk.
You're at home. You're at home.
Thank you, Jorge.
Yes,
Thank you
come
for
on.
understanding my
You
point.
went hard at the hoop, but all you had to do was walk 9 feet to wherever you need to end the night.
So
You win.
Jorge, were you the last to leave? Were you and Chris last, or was Greg still there? I think Greg was still there.
Greg was still there when we left.
Yeah, so I think Greg was the last person to leave. Greg lives less than 4 blocks
Not
from my
Bergman,
house. No,
for
different Greg. My
people
friend
know.
Greg Fisher. He lives about 4 blocks away from me.
And he walked there?
Not a chance.
The stories you guys were telling.
Yeah. I guarantee you I was asleep before his car got home.
I believe
And
you.
it's 4 blocks away.
I
was tired. I had a Rams game
I
the
believe
next
you.
day.
By the way, for those, I think I had an Ask Lee on Friday about whether I would have the ability or an opportunity to go upstairs.
Did you go upstairs?
This is awesome. The fact that this is good.
We cleaned up the bathroom upstairs in case there was like a log jam at some point.
Well, somebody was using the bathroom. It could have been Michael taking a shower.
Oh, yeah. Michael took a shower. We have one bathroom downstairs.
Yep, all his friends are there in the living room. There's another group of people that are outside. There's a taco guy cooking, and Michael said,
I think I'll take a shower.
You know what, guys?
Like, did he just get back from like working out or something?
No,
Or-
don't ask questions like this. There's
Emily,
no. Yeah.
I don't know. I maybe Greg late.
It's a good question. He just decided he was going to take a shower. So while he's in the shower, I'm like, well, I need to use the restroom. And he said, Slee, there's a restroom upstairs. I said, Trev, I think that was an Ask Slee of whether I was going to go upstairs. I went upstairs.
There are 2 showers upstairs that he could have used. He used the one downstairs. He's wonderful.
He was marking his territory, I guess.
I guess so. Em, what do you got?
All right, so this is from
steam
Emily
coming
in
out
LA
of it?
Live. It's from Emily in LA Live. What would you have done if Travis and his family ended the night with something sort of like this? They do a performance at the end of the night. They didn't tell you they were going to do it ahead of
Not the
time.
Von Trops.
Well, what would you have done if they did something like this?
So long.
Joined in.
I would have been in. I just said, I don't know what else to do. These
they're
people just
secluded,
had me
you
at their
leave?
house for 4
I want to
hours.
have the little flute to
I
call
wanna-
everybody to line up.
Trev. I'd have been clapping like this.
Wait, yeah, who's the last little girl to leave? The sun has gone. Is that you?
I can't go high. I could only do the
I
low
would have
part.
no choice but to participate out of respect. I would have participated.
All right, I got one, and I have one from Catherine Whittier, and he says, "Would you rather walk across hot coals barefoot,
Sure,
walk
that's an
through a
interesting
car
question.
wash,
Okay.
or try to walk across the 110 freeway?"
Okay,
that's
so
an
I
easy
get
one.
hot
Yeah.
coals, I get the 110 freeway,
Or
I
car
get a
wash.
little soap in my eye. I'll take the soap in my eye.
It's probably not going to kill you.
Yeah, the soap would
Now,
be kind
granted,
of a
I'm going to
drag.
get like pushed around.
Those
and there's certain
brushes could
things
be
that
a
are gonna
little
come.
aggressive.
That's
but
okay.
You're not making it alive across the freeway. That's simply not happening.
Yeah.
Or the 110 freeway might be the easiest walk if you go at the right time.
I was just going to say, can I do it at 4:30 on a Friday?
7:30 in the morning. I might be eating sunflower seeds and on my phone walking across the 110.
Jorge.
All right, so what's your favorite part of pizza? No, I'm just playing.
The bread.
The bread, the toppings, or the sauce.
There you go.
Nah, this one's from Big E. What's the one thing that surprised you the most that Travis owned?
I don't have a lot of things.
Okay, a couple things.
Was
I got
it
a couple things.
Was
that
it
came
the
to my mind.
Silverado?
Silverado's nice.
It's very nice.
We all know you have it, so it's not a surprise.
That's true. That's
I think
true.
it was muscling. I think I mentioned this to you. We got a couple things here. First off, when you exit the freeway to get to your area, there's one of two ways that the Waze is going to take me. Is it taking me closer to the ocean? Or is it taking me further to the ocean? I did not know that answer there.
Yeah.
Because that's a very... You can say I live in this area, but there's a freeway here. Which side are you on?
The Tony Stark house in the corner overseeing the ocean.
Right.
That's what it was.
He was on the breezy side.
It was nice. It was a nice day.
Okay, so that was one thing. Other thing that surprised me, your living room, where everybody was. So that is your main spot where you're watching games.
Yeah.
And where Susan just put a TV when you walk in the front door.
Yeah.
She said she's been fighting to get a TV there.
Since the day we moved in.
That's more open.
The first part.
Why not there too?
Because I don't know. I'm not nearly. I like being in that other room. I like being closer to the
more
kitchen.
intimate.
I like the windows that are in the other room a lot better. Yeah, and plus,
and then
I got to run that cable.
The only other thing that that threw me when I walked in, there is a internet line.
Well, it was kind of a janky setup at the last moment.
That was the best. I just
Susan's
walked in. Susan's like, watch out, watch out.
We should tape this down. I'm like, no, I'm not putting down duct tape on my floor.
I offered my services. Hey, for $200, I can run it through your house.
Over the door, through the... Yep.
That thing will not be plugged back in there again until next SC season. That's when we'll do it again.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. All right, one more here. John in Huntington Beach of Fullerton writes, did you open any of the bathroom cabinets at Trav's on Saturday?
Nah, man, I didn't. I wish I did. I didn't. There's so much curiosity. By the way, there was 2 sinks, too. The setup was nice. Yeah. No, I was... it's always awkward going up somebody's stairs. So I was so quick to get it. And you gave me the directions, and... it was like I almost had to put it in Waze. Like, just go up the stairs, you make a left. When you first right, take a list. I'm like, where the hell is the bathroom?
That's not true at all.
I was so quick to just get in and get out.
That is one of those things. I know that people do that. They'll take a little peek in the It feels like a violation.
It's very private.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, like in mine, toothpaste, a razor, shaving cream, Q-tips, and there's nothing particularly exciting in there. Maybe an expired prescription for amoxicillin or something. There's nothing good in there.
That's usually what I check. Whenever I go to a stranger's house, I'm seeing what's expired, what's not. I find out a lot about
There's a difference in, like, if you're, like, looking for something, like, oh, hey, could you grab some Q-tips or whatever, and you just happen to open it, and like, oh, you see? But, yeah, it's a move to open and look through someone's medicine cabinet.
It's a personal violation. Like, you're trusting people not to do that, and I guess if you have something you really don't want somebody to see, you shouldn't leave it there, I guess.
I took a shower.
Michael was occupying the downstairs.
I was like, well, Michael's taking a shower. I'm taking a shower.
Jorge Ceviche got absolutely murdered by those kids. They went all in on that. Rams, they get a win yesterday, 3-3. I still got a lot of questions, Slee. It's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't know.
Great question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
So to start with a quick tweet here, Al, this is from Mailman Matt in the Trav and Slee community. You should join the Trav and Slee community if you haven't done that. It's a late Ask Slee. Hashtag Ask Slee. Now that you've been to Trav's, does Susan need a new table for the backyard? I've got one for her if need be, and he's got a free table by the side of the road. So do we need a new one or not?
No, I don't. You guys don't need a new one, but you're 100% missing a table on the back. Like, you guys need one more. I think the table he's offering, Jorge and I pulled him off to the side at one point, and I just said, they could really use another table. So the fact that this is all kind of coming together, the energy.
Now that you kind of know the dimensions of the backyard, where the table was, right? So
we have the pond is, and like
we've got this glass patio table.
Putting hole.
The
driving range. Yeah. We've got a glass patio table that seats 6 people, right? 2 on each side and then 1 on each end. Mm-hmm. And it fits perfectly for that spot. The table that disintegrated because she didn't get around to becoming a master craftsman at some point in her later life, that one.
Yeah, because you discouraged her.
It was... I'm not exaggerating. I need you to listen to what I'm telling you. I need you to visualize that space
I need you not to be an idiot and just listen.
Exactly. It was 3 times the size of that table we have back there right now. Where was that going to fit in that yard? Where is it? Triple the size of that. You could have had like a banquet in there. You could have hosted weddings on that table. Where was that going to go?
Personally, I'm with Susan on this one.
Half of it would have been on the grass. There would have been nowhere to put it.
Yeah, but you have the option then of sitting in the grass, get your feet on the grass or on the concrete.
Since you're a football family now.
Yeah, we are a football family. Thank you for recognizing that.
That was for the team when they win.
We could have had both the offense and defense sitting there with several spaces for the coaching staff. Yeah. We are a football family, Slee. Yeah. My buddy Brad hates that we call ourselves a football family now, so
football family.
That's what I like to do. Speaking of football families, the Rams win yesterday. Mm-hmm. They win comfortably. They win the game 26-9. They cover. Oh, speaking of, should we do this real quick?
They also shut out the Cardinals in the second half, which is
they did,
too.
And really didn't give up a touchdown. And only 6 points. 3 of them were on the special teams.
Before you get to that, can you talk about the Bills and your pool and all that? Those texts that were coming in yesterday about the
John
pool.
Ireland. Ireland was sending the Buffalo Bills game.
Right. So the eliminator pool, the suicide pool. There's only like 38 people left in the pool.
Started with maybe 130, 140, something like that.
Oddly, you know how many people got clipped in our eliminator pool yesterday because San Francisco lost to Cleveland?
20.
0. Oof. Because I think everybody has
already taken the Niners.
I haven't used the Niners yet.
You haven't used the Niners yet.
I haven't used the Niners yet, and I almost took them in that game.
I've used them.
0. You know how people got clipped by Philadelphia losing to the Jets? Like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Not very many at all. Buffalo, what was there? Were there 14 or 15 of us that had Buffalo going down to the last second yesterday?
Buffalo was a game. That was the one.
It would have taken out half of who's left.
It should have happened.
It should have happened. They should have lost the game.
That was such a...
They definitely should have lost the game.
My 2 best friends are just both Giants fans, and they were just distraught texting me yesterday.
First of all, the Giants are a bad football team, but they should have won that game.
Yes.
They blew it at the end of the first half, and then they got a little bit unlucky towards the end of the game there. That last play was definitely pass interference.
Yes.
I agree.
But they were daring the refs to call it, and the refs didn't.
Eric Davis, who used to do the pregame show with me and Kirk, it was a defensive back in the NFL for a long time, a very, very good one, said, they're not going to call it every time. He goes, if I get 1 or 2 in a row, I know for sure I'm not getting a third one. Yeah. That it's not going to happen, and you can just basically mug a guy at some point.
It's like a technical foul in the NBA.
Right,
if you got one, the chances of them giving you a second, you have to really do something for them to do it
play
again.
Out. We just can't throw a flag every time. They got a little unlucky. Here are the Week 6 standings after our picks. I win the week.
Okay,
it's close though. We're all kind of bunched together.
Wait. I want you guys to stop here for a quick second. If we go back to last Monday, this dude wouldn't say a thing because he lost the week.
Of course.
Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't say anything.
Yeah. I don't recall that.
It's on us to remember.
Actually, didn't even do it on Monday. I think he waited till Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Okay? Maybe it might have been Wednesday.
Hey,
today, 1 hour into the show, hey, guys, I got something coming up
of football
that I want to announce.
And look, now he's showing off.
And
now
he's
showing off the sheet.
He also pointed out to be at the Rams game, too.
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure you do.
Of course. No, I keep track.
Hey, guys, can we play some music in the background? I have an announcement to make.
Travis,
That's good music.
with 7 points, wins the week.
Okay, question.
Wow.
Raiders and the Pats. Was that Raiders-Pats?
Raiders and Pats.
Yep.
Yes.
What was the spread on that one?
It was 3, and that safety put it to 4 to switch it from New England to Las Vegas.
Yep.
Okay.
Boo.
3. Okay. Okay, got it. So then I didn't have a terrible week. I lost the Niner one.
You had a good week, but you had your 4.
That was my.
So I won the week because I was the only one that had Cleveland, and I did it just because the rest of you had picked San Francisco, not because I thought they were going to win, but it won me the week. That was because you guys not only missed San Francisco, all 3 of you had it in the 4 spot. And here's the difference. I had the Rams in the 4 spot. I had 7. Al, you had 6 right behind me. Emily, you came in last this week with 3.
Yep.
You only got the Rams. And then Jorge had 6. Jorge got 3 right, but he missed the top at the 4. You had 3 right. You missed the top at the 4.
So what's the grand total for so far?
Grand total, Jorge still has the lead, but we're bunching together. Jorge's got 37.
I'm still way behind.
I've got 35. Em's got 32. And Al, you've got 29.
See,
Only 3 behind me.
The tone changed. Jorge's got the lead.
No, I thought he wasn't even going to say it.
But I'm right behind him.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have gotten the totals if I didn't tell you.
Well, when I held it up over the running totals are covered up on my hand.
Oh, wow.
Right.
This guy jogged in here to go through the scores this week.
You guys are welcome to keep your own sheets and bring it up.
I do. I just forgot to bring it up.
No, your sheet is. You could basically tell me whatever you want, and I'm like, oh well, Travis is keeping track. So
well, I am keeping. Look, I have all 6. I have all 6 weeks still. I keep track in case there's any discrepancies, or if I need to cheat, I can go back and fix it.
Okay, last year, week 9. Do you have that?
No. Once the season's over, I throw it away. But this year,
like
because
basically,
I actually probably have it.
This guy is football reference on our picks.
Like when I got screwed on Mason and Ireland, we do the mythical money stuff, and then all of a sudden, Greg deleted the tab.
Oh, no.
So we had to start over.
Wait, but it's Google Sheets. You can't just delete a tab. It saves to the drive.
But it got deleted, and we had to start over, and then the rules change here and there.
You have to start over.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory.
Exactly.
Rams win. It was the exact opposite of what I think a lot of people thought were 2 of their better games of the season. The 2 games are the Rams. I think people are like, hey, is that a good team? Was the first half against San Francisco where they scored and then gave it right back. Mm-hmm. The first half against Philadelphia where they scored and gave it right back.
They hung around, and it's the NFC.
And then
or
in
the
both
2 best
of those
teams
games, they did jack squat in the second half. They did nothing. This was the exact opposite of that. Playing against a really bad Arizona team. They play hard, but they're not very good. They don't have a lot of talent. The Rams get nothing done in the entire first half until they hit a big play right before it ends.
Yep.
They kick a field goal. They come out, and they look great in the second half. And I think this is why they're so hard to figure out. I think that they're among the teams in the NFC that are fighting for the last wild card spot or 2.
Yeah.
But I still don't think they're particularly good, and I'm certain that they don't stink. I just don't know which of those 2 things are more likely to win out. I would be shocked if at any point – right, exactly. This team will never be 2 games over 500. I also don't think they're going to be 2 games under 500. I think that they're just right around there. They're going to win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2. That they're just going to be around 500 all year long, which might be good enough to get you into the playoffs in the NFC.
So that's exactly who they are. What you just said of not knowing who they are, in a weird roundabout way, that is the definition of who they are. They can hang with a team that is better than them. They could beat a bad team, and then they could also lose against a bad team or be in a close one against a bad team. I always look at it this way. I think I know the context that things change as the season progresses, but we were sitting here before the season started, and we were trying to do our predictions of the Rams, and we were trying to say, can you be at this point by this stage? They're 3-3. I think they are exactly where they need to be. It does not mean that they're going to be one of the teams that is a true threat to go win a Super Bowl, but I think it's a team that you're just looking at. If you're not going to be the worst team in the NFL,
they're not that,
and go get Caleb Williams or go get a high draft pick, then maybe the one thing that you could try to do from a goal perspective, We just make the playoffs.
I think they're.
And then who knows what happens when you make the playoffs?
And by the way, even if you make the playoffs and got your ass kicked, okay, you know what? This wasn't supposed to be the year anyways.
Making the Rams have entered a different phase. It's just Les Snead talking about knowing your window and where you are. For the last several years, the window was we need to make a Super Bowl run or win the Super Bowl. And they did it twice, right? They got to a Super Bowl and they won a Super Bowl. This window that we're currently in right now, 2023, is make the playoffs. That is a very significant success for this roster, this team, this year. Be one of the 7 teams that get in the NFC. That's a really good season for this group of Rams, and they're on track. They could win 9 games. They could also win 5. You know what I mean? It's just because they have so many. Think about what's coming up. Steelers at home on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Then they go back-to-back road games in Dallas and Green Bay. All 3 of those games feel like, could you win them? Sure. Could they lose all 3? Definitely. And that's, I think, what, other than maybe the Giants, maybe and again, the Commanders are 3-3 too. These are teams you're going to play a little bit later in the season. Cleveland feels
Arizona
a lot
again.
harder. Arizona again. Mm-hmm. But you've also got San Francisco again. You got
Seattle
Baltimore again. You got Baltimore. They got the New Orleans Saints, another one of those games that could go either way. They're just a week-to-week team. And Kirk says it all the time when we do the pregame show. This is a week-to-week league, and this might be the ultimate week-to-week team because the Steelers, the biggest game of the season for them. They beat them. They're 4-3, and worst case scenario, you're going into the bye at 4-5, and you win one more game, you're on the right side of it. Mm-hmm. Lose that game, you got 2 road games against teams that are somewhere between decent and maybe a little bit better than that. You could go into the bye 3-6. You just don't know how it's going to go. The Steelers changes everything.
The expectation, at least from me, is don't try to sell yourself on this is a team that can be a threat. Just don't try to. I know Stafford is there. I know Kupp is back. I know that they have names that won a Super Bowl, and you could look at and say, "Oh, no, come on! These are the foundational pieces are there." And it's Sean McVay. They're not in their window.
No,
but the NFC is not the world beaters that we might think they are.
It's not from 1 to 7, but the top is still very good.
Can I ask you? And I think it's a. There's going to come a point where they're going to have the ability to make a decision before the trade deadline. And we could do this when we come back. But I think the question, if you're trying to make a case why the Rams, they should be aggressive. That, hey, if you get in the playoffs, anything can happen once you're in there. Yeah, make a move or not. I think that's an interesting conversation that we can have.
We'll do that. Plus, it's round 2 of the College Football Corner with producer Emily. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The land of
and it's time for our new Monday feature. It's time for Producer Emily's College Football Corner. Take it away, Producer Em.
All right, y'all. Did you guys stay up and watch Stanford and Colorado? Because Stanford ended up beating Colorado 46-43 in 2 overtime. Yet again, a team not going for 2 when they had a chance to finally win it out, but they ended up winning in the end. So,
yeah.
I mean, it still worked out for Stanford. But the Colorado blew a 29-0 lead they had going to half, ended up losing the game as a whole. They are now sitting at Colorado is 4-3, and so they need 2 more wins to be bowl eligible. And the rest of their games are not going to be easy wins. They have Arizona, they have Oregon State, they have UCLA, Washington State, and Utah. So they need 2 more wins to become bowl eligible.
They better beat Arizona and Washington State. Those are the 2 they better win. Those other 3 are going to be really challenging.
Be very difficult. So I have 2 questions for you, but I also do want to play this sound. So Saturday Night Live did a little spoof of Deion Sanders during their weekend update. So this is Keenan Thompson doing his Deion Sanders.
Colin, we unstoppable, man. We've only lost 3 games. I can't even think of a team that's lost fewer than that.
Well, it's Texas.
Okay.
Alabama.
Great program.
Ole Miss.
Them too.
Utah.
Yeah.
Duke.
Really?
Tennessee.
Balls.
Yep. USC.
Yeah, they beat us too.
Yep. Missouri.
1 more.
BYU.
2 more.
Tulane.
3 more.
Iowa.
4 more.
Miami of Ohio.
All right, you can stop now. Colin, some teams might have a better record, but we getting paid. Right. NIL deals, baby.
All right, so they're having a little fun on Deion's expense, but do you think that Colorado is going to end up being bowl eligible? And if they don't, is that a successful season? If they don't become bowl eligible?
Yeah, I do think that they will become bowl eligible, and I do think that even if they don't, even if they just miss, this is a huge success. They've become a relevant program in the country. They're not a good program, but they're a relevant program. Keep in mind, they were 1-11 a year ago, and not just 1-11. They lost those 11 games by an average of 5 touchdowns. Okay, so that that was a debacle to blow a 29-point. Stanford sucks, by the way.
Yep.
To blow a game like that is a big deal. But they've gone from the worst college program in America to a program that kids are looking at, that kids are attracted to, that has become a legit place to go, even if the football's not up to par yet.
I don't think they become bowl eligible, and I think that loss against Stanford is probably going to be the difference, but that doesn't mean that they have not had. Stanford had lost. Look at Stanford's losses. They have 2 wins on the year. Stanford, Sacramento, Arizona, Oregon, and then they beat Colorado. They were up 29-0 in that game. I think everybody's eyes are on Colorado. I think it's been a successful season for everything that you just said. I think their win total was 3. Wasn't it 3 this year? So they've already surpassed that. So if they get to 5-6 wins, it's going to be better than anybody thought. But that one against Stanford, it could be the difference of just looking at their schedule. They still got some tough ones.
The fact that it's being spoofed on SNL tells you that it's a success.
Yep.
Yeah, they're relevant.
Yeah, they're not spoofing the Nebraska program, who just sucks.
Yeah, and they got a new coach.
They've got. That's what I mean. They are part of the
pop culture.
Pop culture. Thank you, Emily. They're part of what people are just talking about because even if you don't know college football, you know, hey, that Deion guy's doing a thing in Colorado. They're not paying attention to the fact that they're blowing big leads
and bringing up that he was the musical guest at one point.
That was terrific. I didn't know that. I didn't either. No idea that Deion was. Did he host it at some point?
Probably I don't know if he hosted, but that he musical guest. Yeah.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise.
How about this? I was not. I didn't even actually know the game was on Friday night. The Stanford and Colorado game. I mean, why would I? Lakers had preseason game number 4. So let's go through our priorities here. But I go to ESPN.com. The game's on ESPN. So I go to ESPN.com, and now the game just starts playing. Whether you even click on it or not, you could just start. I'm like, oh, okay, this is going on. So I started watching. I want to say it was 29-19. And then, the game goes into overtime and everything else. Did you see that wide receiver for Stanford? Okay, I don't know what if you know what I'm talking about. Elik Iomanor, I want to say is his name.
Okay.
He had 294 receiving yards. I've never heard of that in my life. 13 catches, 294 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had one of the catches.
A whole season's worth sometimes.
He had one of the catches was the Colorado defender, the
behind his back.
behind his uses his helmet to catch the ball. He had 294 yards.
So I did my Dana Hills football game on Friday night. Dana Hills, by the way, gave Laguna Hills their first loss of the season. And Laguna Hills comes in unbeaten at 7-0, and Dana just goes, think, see you later.
Dana Hills 6-2, by the way.
6-2, that's right, Slee. So as we do, my spotter and I, G. Fish and Susan, Bobby came with us, we went and grabbed a drink afterwards. We're sitting there in Hennessy's at Dana Point, and the Colorado-Stanford game's on, and it wasn't 29-0 at this point. Stanford had scored a few, but it's like 29-15 or whatever it was. Yeah. And we're having our drinks, having a little bite to eat, and it's like, and I keep looking and go, this is getting closer than it should be. And then by the time we left, got home, turned it on, got to watch the overtimes along the way. A catastrophe for Colorado. For their bowl eligibility concerns, but generally speaking, if they just win a couple more games, if they win 3 more games and they get into bowl eligible, or 2 more to become bowl eligible, that's a grand slam. But they've already surpassed expectations by a mile. Deion is the story of college football during the regular season.
Yeah.
Once we get into bowls and CFP and the rankings, the real ones that come out here at the end of the month, it'll go into the background. But he's still the story of college football.
It's almost more the story, like not necessarily even on the field. It's just the air and like the name recognition,
the juice.
What it was for a while was it dominated sports, not just college football. Deion dominated sports. And it started because, wait a minute, they just beat TCU, and then it built some momentum from there. But now we're also back to reality. It's like, okay, and you also got to win some games in the process. He's already surpassed whatever the goal was this year, but that loss was a real loss.
So the Rams have Steelers, Cowboys in Dallas, Packers in Green Bay. That's their next 3 games. The trade deadline comes up at the end of this month. October 31st is the NFL trade deadline. Sean McVay, was it last weekend that he said, look, we're probably going to kind of sit this one out. I don't know.
We don't have the same resources.
We don't have the same resources. And there's this part, too. The Rams are about to have a lot of money available to spend, and they're going to have a first-round draft pick for the first time since 2016 when they took Jared Goff.
Wow.
They have not picked in the first round since they took Jared Goff number 1 overall. Haven't had one. They need help at the edge. They probably need a little help in the secondary. And I don't think that even a second running back behind Kyren Williams would be a bad idea. They're a little thin at that position. But the question about what do you do to go from 8 to 7, 7 to 6, how much are you willing to spend? How much capital are you willing to spend? How much of your own roster are you willing to see leave potentially to get marginally better when you're already kind of in the middle of that second group of NFC teams?
Nothing. 0.
Yeah. I think so too.
I'm not doing a thing because what you just set up also gives you, guys, we're starting to build something again.
No doubt.
We're in the process of building something again. Why the hell are we going to go spend this money or why are we going to go spend assets or do anything when the return is so minimal? You don't feel like you're going to – we'll go back, and I know we said this a couple times, the less need window and everything else. Sometimes it's not just your window. It's also it's the 49ers window right now.
Philly.
It's Philly's window right now.
Detroit, maybe.
Okay, how about this? And we'll just stay with San Francisco for a quick second. I know they got to be healthy. I know they got their first loss of the year. Do you really think if you go make a move and you're playing a game in San Francisco, you're going to go beat the 49ers? What if I told you – let's fast forward a year from now, and now you got some more draft picks, and then you went out there and you spent some money, that you had the ability to do it. Doesn't that sound much more reasonable than saying, let's not try to – some franchises might have to go all in because their window was closing. Rams, you cashed one in a year and a half ago. Let this thing marinate a little bit. I think we know what they are.
And
they're going to be 8-9, or they're going to be 7-10, or they're going to be 9-8. Like I really think it's going to be one of those 3 records.
I don't think there's any question. 10 feels like a big ask. I don't think that they're only 6. I think it's 7, 8, or 9. I really do think that those are the 3 numbers that they land on.
And in 2021, they were like 2 players away. They were like, they needed a receiver because Allen Robinson had gone down that year. No, that wasn't Allen Robinson. That was
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods had gone down that year, and so you add OBJ, you add that layer, and then you add Von Miller. Those are two things you definitely needed and two easy solutions that they could get. This year, it's not the same thing. Again, there's not that one person that maybe is going to make a difference. There's Frank Clark that's there that's got cut, but again, Frank Clark isn't going to change the
I'll go a step further,
Rams.
Em. I'll go a step further because I think you're right. And let's play a game. Let's pretend that you could get anybody in the league that you want. Let's say that you could just snap your fingers and get Micah Parsons out of Dallas. Are the Rams the team to beat in the NFC? No, they're not. That's the whole point. So, we were talking about this morning. The Rams have a pair of 7s. You could make a trade to get to a pair of 8s. Does that give you that? You're going to have to bluff your way to win the pot anyway.
Yeah.
Right? You're not. Philly has a full house. San Francisco has a full house.
I was going to say,
they have better cards.
And the board is already showing there's an ace, a queen, and a 10 out there.
Right.
And guys are still betting. They're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
But maybe it's something like with the Lakers, where you nibble a little bit, you get a few guys that are really cheap, and it changes the concept.
I love it. If it's a Van Jefferson trade the other way. Hey, we'll take the guy. That guy's not performing for you. You want our 6th? We'll take your 7th. Cool.
If it's not risky, I agree with you, Em. But if it's costing you too much, it doesn't feel like this is the year to be sitting here and saying to yourself, let's be overly aggressive. Why?
This is better than I think most Rams fans thought, that this is going to be about a 500 team, which at the beginning of the season, maybe nobody outside of that locker room thought it was going to be. But I want you to listen to the Les Snead thing that when he came on, right after they won the Super Bowl, you and I had him on, and he was talking about knowing where you are in your window.
Well, I think you always have to be aware of, what window you're in. Are you building, or is it time to maybe do a rebuild, things like that. And I do think we're in this contention window, right? And a lot of our players, the players you mentioned, right, they're in their prime. Our head coach in his prime. So there's that moment where you go, hey, let's make the most of it.
Okay, so that's even better than I remember, because he gives you 3 specific windows that you can be in. Contention, which is what they were. They're not. Mm-hmm. That's not where they are right now. It felt like at the beginning of the season they might be in a rebuild. They're not. What they are, they're in the building phase. It's building towards something.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to let it cook a little bit. Byron Young looks like he might be a really good player. Puka Nacua has already proven that he is a really good player. Ernest Jones is ascending. Maybe Kobe Turner becomes, a much better inside presence than some of these other guys that we've seen come in and out over the last few years. You are in the process of building some things along the way, but you can't juice it to get into that contention part of the window, because that's just not out there. And even if it was, it would come at such a high price that I think you slide back into the rebuild.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to describe it. And they'll get their window. It's just not right now.
It'll open again.
Yeah,
it may be open sooner than anybody thought.
And the worst thing you could do to yourself is pretend that you're in a window, that you could say, yeah, but we hung with the Niners in the first half. Yeah, but we hung with the Eagles in the first half. And then all you do then, by being aggressive at the wrong time, Trav, you just make that window even further away. You make that opportunity of really competing further down the road.
Factor Caps coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. But I got big news. NextGen is the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. NextGen is the absolute best in the business and has thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it. I've had the guys come out to my house. I can speak to it firsthand. An unbelievable way that they come and they tell you exactly what's going on. They give you an update on what's going on with your system. It's perfect. Right now, you can get a 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection and tune-up, just $88. Just $88 to ensure that your system stays running strong all year long, and they'll even throw in a free air filter at no extra charge. And if you got a slow drain in the house, they can clean that out with a camera inspection for only $88 as well. Here's what you do. 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN, and say goodbye to your AC, heating, or plumbing problems. Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, 833-3-NEXGEN, or visit nextgenaironplumbing.com to schedule online.
You never have to miss a
So cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, I'm sorry again I missed it on Saturday. I had a great time at Disney, but I wish I could have been able to come.
A lot of tacos, Em.
Yeah.
Lot of tacos.
Disneyland's also not one of those. I'm just going to drop in for an hour.
No, it's
and then I'm going to go to
It
Costco
was-
after that.
It was definitely a whole day commitment, and there was some fun stuff, but I had a good time. But
Good.
I'm sad I missed it. So someone highlighted in a feature the daily life of Shams Charania, the NBA insider with the Athletic and Stadium. So this is some of the details of that day in the life. So he dispatches around 500 texts and emails a day. He puts in 18 hours of work, but on vacation he only puts in 12 hours. So don't.
Sure.
And he also has his phone up by his side just in case anything happens while he's on vacation. And he also stopped playing pickup basketball after missing a significant coaching update during a game. So he no longer does anything that he likes for fun, but he, works on doing covering all this stuff and does it really well.
He's terrific.
So this sounds like hell. Travis, Factor Cap.
Fact. Dude, you got to live. I respect the hustle. I respect the commitment to him becoming, because there was Woj, right? Like Woj was the guy that did that forever and ever. And then it became Woj and Shams. Like there were two of them. And he created that out of just what you just described by being a relentless, tireless worker. Mm-hmm. Do you know how old is he? Do you know?
He's
roughly?
I know. I think he's under 30.
Okay.
Maybe 30 at the most.
So my guess is that he will continue to work like a crazy
29.
person
He's only 2 years older than me.
a long time, and he will reap all the benefits of that.
Yeah.
But there does become a point where there needs to be a little work-life balance. It doesn't need to be 50-50, because I really don't think you can be a super high achiever and be 50-50. It's got to tilt one way or the other. You can be great at work or happy at home. It's very hard to do both of those things, with some exceptions. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like fun at all to me, but it clearly works for him.
I've heard like Schefter talk about this on podcasts and stuff about like how he balances life, especially in off season when you try to get away, but obviously there's news breaking all the time. It is something that you have to prioritize, but it's just a different thing that you have to deal with. Al?
So I think if you asked me this question a few years ago, maybe I'd have a different answer, but I lean towards fact on this one as well. They get so much recognition for what they're doing. It's amazing what they accomplish, but let's just use as an example. If he really loved playing basketball and now he can't because he did that one time and something happened.
You weren't on your phone for an hour.
You can't, in their world,
can't go to
anything
a movie,
can
can't go to a
happen
show.
at any freaking time. There's got to be some excitement to it, but there's also got to be like, damn, I literally can't just decide I'm going to be gone for 2 days with no phone service. Can't do that.
It's a race that's never won. Like it's a
That's
race.
a really good
it
way of
doesn't
saying
ever
that.
end, and so you can feel the high of I got that where Tom Brady's retiring and I got it, and then Tom Brady comes out and says just kidding I didn't, and then your reputation goes down. So it's just something you can never win.
I by the way, Emily, turn off your headphones for a second because
Turn it off. Actually, yep.
I'm
turn
stealing that like that was my idea. I like that that it's a race that's never won. That's exactly what it is.
Do you want to go through the standings again? Do you want to give us the points from the week?
It's a race.
I might bonus her a point for giving me something like that. That's exactly right.
Jorge?
Fact. I mean, the fact that you're missing out on so many things just because Dane got traded. Like, really?
Life.
Like, it's okay to miss one. Okay, fine.
Of course it is.
Like, this is my question
But you
about
can't.
right, but this is my question about
because
this
the
guy.
other person's not going to.
But one
Right.
time you're
But one
going to
time.
delete them from your Twitter stream?
That's
No.
what I'm saying. Like, you gotta live, man.
I agree with you, but I'm saying that I guarantee you their mentality is, well, if I don't do it, there's somebody else coming up right behind me that wants to do it.
Because
have a martini.
it happened with Shams. Yeah. All right. So
Have another brownie.
Those are good.
a lot
10 of them.
A lot of the stories coming about the Will Smith family,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith family, quote unquote, has been coming out because Jada wrote a memoir and is trying to promote that memoir and writing these things. And it just got me thinking that sometimes there are very few times, I could probably count on my hands, where I actually enjoyed a celebrity's memoir. That I was like, that's kind of worth reading. So there is a celebrity that you think needs to write a memoir that has not. Al, Factor Cap. Because most of the time, it didn't need to happen.
Has Chappelle wrote a memoir? I don't know if he has, but he to me, because I find his life very interesting. Like he was on top of, you can't get any more on top of the game. Left it. I guess we got a little bit of that story. That's the only one I could think of off the top of my head where it's somebody that I respect, somebody that I appreciate his work, that also has some interesting storylines in the middle. I don't know if he's written one. Probably not. I'm assuming he hasn't. But I think there'd be a person or two that I'd have some interest in.
Trev?
You know what I'm going to say.
Tiger?
Yeah.
But only if it was real. And
Yeah,
only if he
no,
did
no,
everything.
I don't want this is where I hold my hands when I hit a chip shot. I have no interest in that at all. I don't care. Here's what really happened that night when she smashed my windshield. I'd like to know what's going on there.
Everybody's going to read it.
I'd love to know about how he feels about his relationship with his father as time has passed. Obviously, they were very close for a long time, but his dad may have laid some groundwork for some things that kind of let his life spiral out of control. That I would love to know how he thinks about his peers in the golfing world. I would love to know what it's like to go from, relatively humble beginnings to becoming a billionaire. You know what I mean? By hitting a golf ball, by becoming a brand icon that is known across the world. But he is so intensely private, and anybody that says, what type of toothpaste he uses gets excommunicated from his circle instantly. He obviously is never going to do it. But, yeah, he's the answer to who could you have a drink with. All of those things, the answer for me is always Tiger Woods.
If they had truth theory.
Yes.
By the way, it's Crest. He uses the whitening one.
The one that has a little green
Well,
strip
he's
on
not
top.
returning your calls anymore.
I know. When that came out,
I don't like that one that has a little
big
stripe in it. I
news.
just want it
Yeah,
all white.
I know. It's all white, exactly.
Yeah.
Jorge?
Messi or
I'll take the
Ronaldo,
stripe.
if
Bring
they don't
it.
have one. Because those guys, to be at the top of the game for
Yeah.
so long and going against each other, it'll be interesting to see what those guys say about each other, like outside of their element.
The best books about the guys that we're talking about are usually written by someone else. And
That's a professional writer.
Right. And somebody that gets access to people in that person's world and they can speak freely. And sometimes the very best versions of those, they'll actually talk to the subject of the book and put whatever the athlete says into context of what other people are saying about similar events, because the truth is somewhere in there. It's not what that person said or what that person said. It's a combination of probably both of those things. And the more people you can get to talk, the closer you can get to it. But an autobiography is almost never revealing.
Yeah, unless you knew nothing about the person anyway, which is then also, it intrigues you to get to know the book.
Yeah.
So the best memoir by a celebrity, and again, celebrity probably has loose terms because I don't know if you guys know who she is, but her name's Jeanette McCurdy. She was on
she's on iCarly, yeah.
She was Sam on iCarly. She wrote a memoir about her life.
Something about her mom, right?
The title
is
is I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Yeah.
And it is so good. I listened to the audiobook of her doing it, so she reads it herself, and she chokes up crying at some times, and she can't even get to the book. It's an incredible book. If you are interested at all, watch iCarly for even a second. It's worth watching, but it's very good, so would recommend that one. So I was at Disney, obviously. I said that earlier in the segment, but I was there on Saturday.
Going for the road?
We didn't do a road this time.
Okay.
So we were, our energy was very low. We needed some food, so we did it earlier on because we started out in Disneyland. But what I noticed a lot, obviously it's not new information, but a lot of people like to wear graphic tees when they go to Disney and saying all sorts of things, from the appropriate to the less so. But a lot of them are also these families that go and do, oh, hey, we're the big family vacation, thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, whatever. So you would wear matching graphic tees on family vacation if your family asked you to. Jorge, fact or cap?
Hell no.
No?
Nah. No, I just
Dad would.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
He would.
No, I wouldn't.
It's easier to
If
find you.
If your daughter said, "Let's all wear this," you
Dad,
wouldn't
put
wear
on
it.
the shirt. Come on.
You're putting it on.
I don't think so.
You're
no.
not saying no to her.
Oh, yes, I am. I've said it plenty of times. Trust me. No. It's over.
Travis?
I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be like leading the charge. I wouldn't order them online. And
He did it on Saturday. Michael, Suze, everybody had the same shirt on.
but
weekend
yeah,
long.
if the kids wanted me to do it, I absolutely would do it.
Fact.
Oh?
Yeah, I'm all good with it, and that's. But it's
Have
got
you guys?
No, but
I have.
it's got to be kids involved. So it's down the road. But if kids are involved, yeah, I'll do it.
We haven't done it in a long time, but there used to be like 4th of July themed shirts that went all over the place. That
Like the Old Navy ones?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the Old
we used to,
Navy
but
ones.
those are also like, those are.
Hey, we're not done
Those
with
are
Fact or
cute.
Cap.
They
Get the hell out of here.
They have an announcement to make, I think.
all
I've
right.
been told.
What's the announcement?
Well, the announcement.
Hi, Chris.
is-
Hi, Greg.
Hi. How you guys
Good morning.
doing?
Hello, guys.
Is that Alan Sliwa has the goal.
This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk into my office, and then all I see in the middle of my desk is a Comrex unit.
Hold it up to the camera.
And in the middle, it just says, "Can you please add the other Comrex lines? Thank you." Just here.
I guess the
You
only
do it.
question I have is,
You
have
do
they
it.
been added or have they not? Did we get there or
the
no?
goal
This
that you
guy
think
goes to
of.
Travis's
And then-
house once. Now look at him.
It's what's in it for Sliwa now.
Whiffs it.
Yeah.
No, wait. Whiffs. It's whiffs. What's in it for
Okay.
Sliwa? Whiffs.
I showed you, Travis, how to do it
I'm
once.
gonna
You did the rest of them.
turn
I
this
showed
on right
Scott
now.
Kaplan, who is absolutely does not know how to use technology. I showed him one
Why
time
do you
how
have
to
to
do
tie
it.
that to Kaplan? Kaplan
Because 3 weeks ago he was FaceTiming me. We were trying to help him and he was crying.
Exactly.
I can't do this,
and
man.
he did all of it.
Yeah.
But and then I say, hey, I'll show you how to do one.
The
Yep.
power move
And-
of the
and then-
Post-it is amazing.
It's really ridiculous.
well, they were in a meeting, you know.
But
and
why is this-
only
I
had
said-
so
why is this
much-
Greg's
I had so
department?
much
I
time.
said to you, I'll show you how to do one, and you do
Yeah.
the rest. And he says, no habla inglés.
No, I did not. You said I'll teach you again to do it.
Oh, he's
and
got
you
his
could do
Toys
the
R Us.
rest.
He's got the Toys R Us phone out.
I said no comment.
Green bubbles.
He
are
said
us.
Cappy can do it, so can you. I said no habla inglés.
And I said, you're doing it. So no, I will show you one, and
This
you
is
can learn how
First
to
one's
do
on the
this
house, bud.
yourself.
I mean, I
how
thought
to
we
get
were
you.
a team.
You've
here.
done
Thought we worked together here.
You think other people do things for you. You're not a team. A team is we do these
710
together.
Comrex 1 you put in and it worked. 710 Comrex 2 I put in and Funch just said, I don't know what the hell you're doing over there.
What's a Comrex?
So
It's the
I went from there.
That was a good job by Em. I'll give her that.
I didn't hear it.
But she said, what's a Comrex?
A Comrex is a way in which we can do the show
It's
not
the
in the
unit
studio.
that we use to connect on the air.
Didn't we
when
have
you're
an app
away, when
before?
you're somewhere else.
Yeah, we don't use the app.
Oh, the
Comrex app.
That's like 2020 though, bro.
That was pandemic broadcasting.
Do you want to keep this or no?
No, that's yours.
This guy.
You're back in your
I'll show you the
suit,
break.
Chris.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it did require a suit.
What do you want from me, man?
Chris, you
The
still
pink
full?
shirt.
I'm still full from Saturday.
Nothing, I guess.
I'm still
I wish
Hey,
I
how
could go
was
back.
it?
If I knew what this morning entailed, I wouldn't have left his house. I would just be like, nah, let's just keep going. Okay? Everybody also, I know, we got to go. But I've gotten so much grief about people wanting me to break a USC bobblehead and stuff.
Why?
Because, USC lost to Notre Dame.
So
and
what?
Him and Travis won't admit it. No, they lost.
Admit it. We talked about how disastrous it was, and now it's the beginning
Well,
of
actually,
the
Lincoln
end of the
Riley
season.
called us idiots.
Well, he did call us idiots, but
Yeah.
that's
So
another thing.
I might come in later just to explain more. But you guys got to get ready for stuff. What do you got, Slee? You got something good for 45?
Yeah.
All right.
Really good.
It's good.
Slee's got stuff for 45. Coming up next, it's Trav and Slee, 710 ES. You've been hearing me say that, and it's the thing that you have to do. If you are hurt in an accident, call 1-800-9-MILLION. Car accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, you call Sweet James, because this isn't a firm that's just trying to get that quick settlement to move on to the next one. This is a firm that's going to make sure that that settlement is right, that it's the settlement that you deserve. It's the settlement that you're entitled to. And if it's not, that's when they go to trial. That's when they make sure that they win. 98% win rate, and those are the ones that can change your life. And guess who else knows that? The insurance companies. That's why they're going to make sure that you get what you need, because Sweet James is on your side. If you are hurt in an accident, make the call that I've made, my friends have made, and my family have made. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. 1-800-9-MILLION and sweetjames.com.
caller number 7.
Yes, indeed. Caller number 7, Taylor Corbin from Redlands. Congratulations, Taylor. You are caller number 7.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited.
Good. So you know how it works. You ready to give us a Super Bowl prediction, the 2 teams, and the score? What do you got?
All right, I'm going to go Dolphins 31, and then I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to throw the Lions in there, 27.
Okay, redo it.
31 to 27.
Dolphins 31. Yeah.
31 to 27, the Dolphins over the Detroit Lions.
The Lions.
You got it. You got it. Good luck, Taylor. Congratulations.
All right,
and that is your Super Bowl prediction. Thanks for playing $1 Million Mondays. And just for playing, you win 2 tickets to SoFi Stadium for a game next Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. $1 Million Mondays on 710 ESPN, presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. So maybe he wins $1 million, but nothing less. He gets to go see your Steelers.
Go see the Steelers.
Do you have a poncho that you want to bet?
I don't have a poncho, but I do have a T-shirt and I have a beanie. So maybe we can do that. So
okay, but you're not averse to wearing Rams gear. So what's the punishment if you lose?
Yeah, see, I don't know.
We got to come up with
It's
something.
a win-win for me. Win for the Rams, win for the Steelers.
Yeah.
You have to wear a Grayson Allen jersey.
Does anybody
have one of those
Allen
things?
jersey?
I have a Duke T-shirt in my house.
I also have a Duke T-shirt at home.
Okay.
Yeah. I had 4 cousins. I have 8 relatives that
We
went
got
to
to
Duke.
come up with something that you will
That I
not
would
like,
hate.
right? Because
Yeah.
if I got to wear a Steelers beanie, there's got to be a little skin in the game for you too.
Yeah. Well, we'll think. If anybody has suggestions of what my
good idea.
punishment could be, let me know.
I still get emails from the Sacramento Kings.
You can unsubscribe, and if you click it like 486 times, it still won't work.
Well, this is why they got me, because it's the NBA store, and I'm okay with the NBA store. Like, I'm okay with getting some from the
But
NBA
do they
store.
push all the Kings
They're pushing
stuff?
all Kings products to me, because Taylor won a Kings game, and I basically had, who was it, Tyreek Evans?
I think so.
I think it was Tyreek Evans.
Yeah, there was a Tyreek. Wasn't there a white chocolate moment
Oh,
in
yeah,
there too?
yeah. There was one of those as well.
Yeah. So you said
I
you
saw
had
a lot of
something.
those guys. No, I didn't say I had something. They said I had something, but I will go with it. Just added 2
Did you
more.
get your comics fixed, by
I
the way?
added 2.
Okay.
I added 2. So Greg in the
Couple
break.
more to go.
Yeah, there's 2 more I think I have left.
Yeah.
Greg showed me in the break how to do it, and then he got philosophical. He said, Alan, you can feed a man.
Would you like me to take over from
No,
here?
I got here. You can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you could teach a man how to fish and feed him for life.
That's it. You got it, Steve. Way
And
to
I
go.
said, Greg, that is the deepest thing that you've ever said to me. I might need your help in about 10, 15 minutes with that Comrex setup.
Is it worked? Have you tried it yet?
I haven't tried those lines specifically.
All right. I'm a little skeptical.
You a little? Should be more than a little skeptical.
Just dial it up right now. Let's do it a whole tech seminar. What do you got?
Thought about you on Friday.
No, never mind. Go ahead.
No, you come in. We got
All right,
we still have another.
No, I'm leaving early.
He's like, I got to fire everything right now. I'm out of here.
There's Shams, and then there's Jorge. Right? Like, hey, man, I got to go.
No, I forgot.
Quiet quitting.
Go ahead.
Thought about you over the weekend.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just joking.
Friday night.
What's your favorite topping on pizza?
Friday night. I thought
Okay.
about you. So there's a new media room now at Crypto.
Ah.
So they went through
Like
and
a
they
different
changed-
space, or do they just redesign it?
Same space. Basically, they went from a 2,000 square foot home to a 900 square foot apartment.
Oh.
It's a little different.
Okay.
Okay. Some people are not going to
They
like
still
I
have
said
the
that,
purple
but-
and yellow M&Ms?
No, they did not have them.
Come
at
on,
least.
man.
Actually, they may have, and I just didn't notice. But the whole
They're
setup
right by
is
the
complete-
ice cream machine, usually to the right.
Okay, so this is why it's different. Because ice cream machine, let's use as an example, kind of had its own block.
Yeah, sure.
Right? It had its own bedroom,
Yeah.
let's call it. Now it's in the closet.
Oh.
Like it's that kind of, that's where the size we went to. But the reason why I thought about you is, so I get to the game and I'm just looking at the meter room. It's the first time I've saw it. It's the first game they had at Crypto, so this is
Okay.
all new to me. They changed
This
it.
was yesterday.
This was on Friday night.
Friday, okay.
They got some new hospitality stuff that they're doing, and there's a tunnel now that goes straight to these seats. You could now park. This is for the ballers of the ballers. They're taking care of them, and in order to take care of them, they took, they made sure the media people, we're going to give you guys a little less space here.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. So the reason why I thought about you is I walked by, and speaking of Shams and Woj is right there.
Yeah.
Next to Woj is Dave McMenamin.
Yeah.
What are both of them holding?
Uncrustables.
Uncrustables.
Yeah. Look, you're late to this game. I don't know what your problem is with those.
No, it's not. I don't have an issue with them. I don't have an issue with them. But every time I see them now, I think of you.
Because they're wonderful?
And
Keep
I
one
think
right here
of
in your breast pocket.
I think of you putting an Uncrustable in your jacket.
Yeah.
And then when somebody who hasn't seen you in a while comes up to you, Trav, how you been? They just
Gotta
hear
lean
the
to the side.
crumpling of what the hell is in
the
these guys?
Uncrustable was in my left breast pocket, right? So if somebody came in, I always led with my right.
Yeah.
So that way I could just kind of give you a little shoulder bump, a little fist grab, the whole thing. We're not coming in like that because the Uncrustable could break open and then I got purple jelly.
That's
in
what
my
I'm saying.
jacket.
That's what I'm saying. He took a risk every time. Now, when you used to have those, it was later in the evening.
No.
You would do it before?
Yes.
Pre-game.
Yes.
The reason why I'm asking the question, no, because that to me is more like a dessert.
Nah.
Like I would have my main meal earlier, and then I'd go in and Jorge, I'm tying this back to you because I'm gonna do a little coffee with that Uncrustable.
Nah.
You're not going to
No,
do it with peanut butter and
Al's
jelly?
right. So here's what it is.
Milk, bro.
When I was doing Lakers
Put milk
pre,
in
half,
my
and
coffee.
post, I would go over there and I would grab an Uncrustable and I would eat it and I'd grab a cup of coffee. Then when I was done with the pregame, I would grab a second Uncrustable into the pocket for somewhere later in the evening. That's how you would usually
On the
do
road,
it.
maybe.
Occasionally they'd have the chili and cheese out and make a little nachos or something like that. But
Those are still there.
The
Yeah,
Uncrustable
they're
was always a must-hit. Sometimes they had apples and oranges in there too in that fridge that was pretty good. Gone.
I'm telling you, it's a much different
Okay,
space
they
right
had
now.
good. I don't know where they bought those oranges, but they were good. They
Yeah.
were always incredibly
From my
juicy
tree.
and sweet. Yeah. Hey, where are my lemons, by the way?
There was very few of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried.
What about the
looking for
mangoes?
Mangoes? They're very like cherries. They're not really.
All right, this weekend, if I go down to SD, I'll
You
make
have an
sure I
orchard.
pick from
What
my
do we got?
mom's.
What do we got going down there?
They got oranges,
Okay.
tangerines, lemons. Those are really those are the main ones.
Okay.
Everything
those,
else
those
is kind
all
of
sound great.
died.
A buddy of mine had a pomegranate tree in his backyard. And
I lied. We have a pomegranate tree.
Do you have a pomegranate
Yeah.
tree?
But they're not. Sometimes they come out awesome. They're great.
Yeah.
Other times, just not as many.
So don't do what my buddy Bob Richter and I did when we were like 14. He had this ginormous pomegranate tree in his backyard that would drop dozens, hundreds of pomegranates. We went and got a baseball bat and threw them at each other and tried to hit them like we were Ken Griffey. And that pomegranate juice is like ink, basically.
Oh, no, that's not going anywhere.
It doesn't come out.
Yeah.
We should not have done. Like there was
You're like
pomegranate.
Dwight Schrute in the office when he gets covered in
It
the beet
looked like
juice.
a crime scene.
Yeah.
There was this red stuff everywhere, and his mom comes out and is like, what in the world are you guys doing? We're like, we're hitting pomegranates with the bat. She's like, that stuff doesn't come out. He had a nice pool in the backyard. We'd stay in the deck a little bit. We were real stupid.
Do you ever have something that your mom tells you since you were 3? I think that's one of the things my mom has told me since I was 3.
The pomegranates?
Be careful with the pomegranates. Every time there's like that's on a
used
table.
Mrs. Sliwa in my life
every
at that
time there's
point.
hey, be careful. I'm a mom. I know. You've been
Bob,
telling
throw me
that.
another one. I'm going to smoke this one. Let's make sure we aim it towards the house. We're super.
We have some
smart.
tweets about what my punishment should be, so we can talk about that on the other side. But also, Al, I think you brought up a good point or conversation
That
around the
never
Lakers during the meeting this morning that we should definitely talk about, especially regarding AD and other bigs in the league.
I like it. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
return of Million Dollar Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction, both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station, 710 ESPN.
ESPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
All right, so we'll get to the Lakers in just 1 second, but some breaking NFL news. In fact, breaking Ram news. This is from Adam Schefter of ESPN. An MRI today revealed that Rams running back Kyren Williams has a sprained ankle that is expected to sideline him for Sunday's game against the Steelers, but it is not considered a long-term injury per source. So going back to what I said when we were talking about the Rams a couple of minutes ago, I said one of the areas of need, in my estimation, is that the Rams could use a little bit of depth at that position.
Mm-hmm.
With Cam Akers gone, it was basically all Kyren Williams this last couple of weeks. He ran for 158 yards in the second half yesterday. They're asking a lot of him. They ran the ball. They ran the ball successfully, and now they're going to have Ronnie Rivers. Zach Evans, I think, might get in there as well. This is a big deal.
Maybe they do something where they have Cooper Kupp run it, more. I know he's in the past, not like a true running back, but exposing the same holes in the offensive line that they were creating yesterday, and either putting Ronnie Rivers in there or having Puka.
They've had Skoranek kind of do that.
Skoranek too.
Last year they used Skoranek kind of in that H-back role.
Yeah,
where they
like a
handed
fullback
it to him
kind of.
a few ways. But look, Kyren Williams is a good running back. Yeah, like they really found something in that guy. He will be missed. Hopefully he's back by, what would that be after that? Dallas the week after. But you got Pittsburgh, Dallas, Green Bay coming up before the bye. 3 pretty tough games.
Yeah, especially against Pittsburgh, too. What are they known for? They're known for their defense. So can you have a little bit of a dual threat? Can you not have to throw the ball on every single down? I think you sent out a tweet during the game. How many rushes did they have at some point where they refused to?
3 rushes in the first half and scored 6 points. Mm-hmm. Okay, they had 9 consecutive rushes in the third quarter and scored 10 points. It's
and I don't think they were going to be able to do that against the Steelers either way because of the defensive.
But you got to have some. But you got to have some balance,
of course.
Just a little bit, like even just the threat of having that back.
TJ Watt is a problem under the very best of circumstances, and you do not have the very best of circumstances. You are now going in there knowing that Matthew Stafford's going to have to throw it 50 times on Sunday if they don't have him.
He's not going to have any time because TJ Watt's going to be down his throat, and so it's going to be difficult, and it's now been made more difficult.
I'm going to get super football. You got to go to a double tight end at some point and get whatever side TJ Watt is on, that guy gets help.
Yeah.
Right? You have to do it. You cannot.
Because Kyron's throwing blocks too, and sometimes not the best.
Not the best, but at least he's, in the situation. And what we saw yesterday against Arizona doesn't have anybody like TJ Watt with a million miles of their team. There's nobody in the league, maybe other than Micah Parsons, one or two other guys. But you have to give whoever is blocking him, you need to help him. Because if that guy can just pin his ears back and come after Stafford, that's bad news. Rob Havenstein missed one play against the Eagles. One. Mm-hmm. Stafford nearly got broken in half. Mm-hmm. He took the hardest shot of the day because he missed one play. You cannot mess around with that.
And the Rams were fired up by having this run offense working because they were in the locker room afterwards saying how excited they were that it was making a statement that they were fired up themselves by having the run game. And now, again, this is just another thing that is putting it back a bit. But also I have some tweets, not just from Schefter, but from you guys about what my punishment should be. So, again, I was born and raised a Steelers fan, and I'm excited to see them. I've never seen them actually play live before, like in person, so that'll be really cool for me, too.
Oh,
yeah, this
cool.
will be my first time seeing the Steelers in person.
Do you wear like a Steelers T-shirt under your Rams stuff?
I'm going to be professional. I'm going to do that.
Kirk does.
I know.
They play the Raiders. Just saying.
Yeah, I just don't.
It's okay. It's your team.
I don't really
It's
want
your
to. But so some of them
you should paint your face.
Christopher Holmes say,
I'll
be louder in the press box. I'll be cheering.
Who's that?
Christopher Holmes.
Hey, what's up, Holmes?
So he says Emily should have to eat a slice of pizza off the floor with her hands tied behind her back.
No.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no. We're not doing that.
What kind of pizza?
Next.
What kind of pizza?
Probably pepperoni if I was going to choose my own pizza. Obviously, I'm from Pizza Hut. But then there's from Rick Lopez, and he says if the team wins, so I'm saying the Rams win, Emily has to listen to Pandora all day on Monday.
I like that.
I would have to download Pandora.
Yeah, first
subscribe.
off, I'll let you use my passwords.
Okay.
So this gets Lee's credentials, and you get all the. Are you commercial free?
Commercial free.
Wow.
Yeah, commercial free.
Okay,
Guys.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
I my whole. Go ahead, I'm finished.
All right, I have one more. So this is from
the best thing is when you're at like a get together.
Of course.
And somebody's playing music on the Bluetooth on one of the speakers, whatever the case is, and then just out of nowhere, it's like $199 a month. Get your Ford Escape or whatever it is, right? Like just something different. It's like 3-4 commercials in a row, and I'm like, log into mine. Just log into mine, man.
Yeah, it is annoying. And then one more from Corbin McCarthy, and says if Emily loses, she should have to wear a David Beckham jersey and watch the entire documentary. That wouldn't be that much of a
punishment.
punishment.
That's not a punishment.
But the Beckham jersey might be a punishment.
Do you not remember how quickly she dismissed the idea of watching that? No, I won't watch it. Hey, did you see anything? No.
Exactly. You should watch a documentary on Russell Wilson.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe that now. Or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think I have an Aaron Rodgers jersey in my house.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, honestly, if you had me wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey, that would probably be the worst thing.
I think I know we had one at one point. But
as long as it's not a kid's jersey.
Well, yeah, it may be. I need to look. I'm not even so
or
sure.
Maybe I'll just
it.
put it in front of my face for the whole.
Yeah,
show.
just wrap it around your shoulders or something.
Okay.
But
those are some good suggestions, Guy. But if you have any more, please send them in or call in.
Just real quick, just in case you're just jumping in, Kyron Williams will not play against the Steelers on Sunday. A sprained ankle, according to Adam Schefter, but it is not considered a long-term injury. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
he's been a good player for them so far. They got rid of Cam Akers because they thought this guy could carry the load. Sprained his ankle yesterday.
And even if he's gone for just 1 week. It's a big game against Pittsburgh. And I know we've said that every week.
But Slee, it's one of those swing games, right? You had to beat Indy.
You need to beat Pittsburgh.
It's hard to get to 9 if you don't beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I think that's the number that you can feel comfortable with getting in the playoffs. Without them, now you're going to have to beat Cleveland, which is going to be a tough game. You're going to have to beat Baltimore on the road, tough game. It just, one that you maybe could let go becomes one you got to have.
What's Steelers' record, by the way? I'm just trying to look here. 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah.
So key one for them as well. Key one for them as well.
And they're coming off the bye, but also, okay, this is a little inside Steelers stuff, and it's like kind of the community. But that Tomlin always loses games that he should win, and he wins games he should lose, or it's up in the air. So depending on how we think about this game is how the Steelers approach it. But it's just been so frustrating watching the Steelers recently because it's just so 50-50 what team you get, especially with that offense. But fire Matt Canada.
I was waiting.
Just throw it in
had
there.
to be said at some point. I knew it was only a matter of time.
So yesterday was kind of cool. Damian Lillard wearing a Bucks jersey.
Yeah, it didn't look weird. Usually they show up for the first time. You're like, oh, that's... that looks about right.
It looks good.
It does.
But it takes a second to get adjusted to that because you're just accustomed to it. So yesterday, kind of getting ready for pre, and you got the guys that are coming out and warming up, and Giannis is doing his thing, and Giannis is Giannis. Actually,
can I stop you right there real quick?
Yeah.
There's like 3 guys that I've seen in person in an NBA arena and went, oh my God.
Yep.
Like that is just Giannis, Embiid, and Blake Griffin, believe it or not. Like when Blake Griffin was at the peak
Blake
of his
Griffin was a
powers,
highlight reel.
and Blake Griffin is like 6'10" and can jump out of the damn building, or at least he could. Those are the 3 guys that doesn't look like any other person I've ever seen.
It's lost some of its thunder because we get to see him so much, and the Lakers have played in the playoffs against him, this and that. Steph has this thing where you're just warming up. Forget size, of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, hey, that's a show. So yesterday, Giannis is doing his thing, and then Dame comes out, and Dame starts warming up, and it's like, what the hell is going on here? And I'm watching, for the Lakers, it's kind of been the same story. The same story has been they're only going to play their guys for the first half. Bron's only going to play in half of the preseason game, so he's played 2 out of 5. They got one more preseason game left on Thursday. They're going to play, most likely they'll play everyone on Thursday because it'll be their last chance to prep for the regular season against Denver.
Right.
And you really haven't seen them all together other than a select first half here and there. So I'm going to lay out their stats, but this was kind of cool yesterday. Usually when we talk about Anthony Davis, if I say, hey, name the top 3 big men in the NBA, who's going to be your top 3? No order. Just
Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic.
Kind of easy.
Yeah.
Right? It's not really much of a conversation. Those are the top 3 big men. And the conversation is, okay, hey, will AD work his way back there? Will he not? Is this his team now? Is this kind of his opportunity to kind of take over? Blah, blah, blah. We've had those conversations. Giannis yesterday in the first half, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 2 block shots.
That's it?
AD in the first half. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 block shots. It was actually pretty cool to see these two. Yeah. And I'm not telling you that they're matched up against each other on every play or anything like that, but you're Anthony Davis, and at least for us, we look at the best 3 big men in the NBA. We do not name Anthony Davis. We do not. He's the 4th guy. That's the best way I could put him. He's the 4th best player. In the top 10 rankings, and ESPN had the player rankings, I think that came out last week, it was Giannis, Jokic, Embiid. And then Anthony Davis was at number 10.
Yep.
Right? So you got the 3 big are the ones that kind of dominate it, and we only get a chance to see it. I know it's preseason, but it was cool yesterday to kind of see that, hey, there's Giannis doing his thing, there's AD doing his thing.
You know what it's kind of like? It's AD is in the same position with the other bigs as the Lakers are with the top teams in the NBA. You've got your top teams. You've got Denver. You've got Boston. You've got Milwaukee. These teams are like, okay, Phoenix maybe, that it's going to run through them. Who's the next best of not those? Oh, the Lakers are near the top of that list.
Yep.
You got Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic. Who's the next best? Oh, it's AD. Like they're not in that number 1 tier. They're not in that top slice of best teams, but they're at the top of the next group. And until he goes out there and does what he did last night and like, look, I'm here with you. I'm doing what you're doing and more. My team wins. The only way that he puts himself back in that group, the only way that the Lakers kind of get back in that, hey, don't count out the Lakers, is by going out and beating those teams. That's it. That's the only way you can do it. You can talk about it a million different ways, but show me.
So here's a question. I think we agree that they are in that second tier.
At the top of the second tier.
Top of the second tier, but that when you say, give me the 3-4 best teams in the NBA, I don't think the Lakers come up. What don't they have? Because last year, if I'd have told you before the season started, Lakers are going to get to the Western Conference Finals, you would have said,
not a chance.
First off, you're on crack.
Not a chance.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, after you get past the crack point, you would say, that's not happening, but if you're asking me if it is, then I'll sign up for it. Well, this year, you're coming off getting to the Western Conference Finals. So if the Lakers just made the playoffs and were out in the second round, is that a good year?
No.
Of course not, right? Coming off Western Conference Finals. So I think the question that I want to ask is, why are they not in that conversation? What are they missing that they're not in that conversation? And looking at what we've seen from the Lakers so far, I don't really know what questions I have about the team. Like, I feel great about where they are, but they're not also in that top tier. I'm trying to figure out what's missing.
I think there's a big reason why. We'll tell you when we come back. Plus, we got another college football corner coming up. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
your Monday, and it's time for our new Monday feature. It's time for Producer Emily's College Football Corner. Take it away, Producer Em.
All right, y'all. So we're playing I don't know if you guys recognize this, but this is the Air Force's fight time. Okay, so I'm going to combo two teams here for this last College Football Corner, but Air Force defeated Wyoming 34-22. And James Madison also defeated Georgia Southern 41-13. These are two undefeated teams in the college football that are still left out there. So Air Force is ranked for the first time since 2019. They're ranked number 22, and they remain undefeated. And James Madison, the one guy, the singular man, James Madison, who defeated Virginia earlier in the season, have also qualified for a bowl game and are undefeated right now. So what would a committee do if for some reason these two teams are still undefeated? Is this something where in the 12-team playoff they would be put in? Obviously, they won't make the college football playoff, but, if you're undefeated, you have a case.
No, you don't. No, you don't. They have a good team. They're having a good season, and they're able to win some games, but playing in a conference that's got like the Pac-12 or the Big Ten or the SEC or the ACC, you're playing somebody every week that has at least theoretically a chance to beat you. I'm not saying that running the table in one of those others is easy, but a 2-loss Big Ten team or Pac-12 team or SEC team would wipe the floor with James Madison.
What about the 12-team playoff? They get in, they have a chance.
Maybe in a 12-team playoff, you throw them
Air Force would get in. In a 12-team playoff, they would.
Maybe
they stay undefeated.
If you ran the table,
yeah,
they're in a, because it's the Mountain West, they would get into a 12-team playoff with no losses.
Yeah, they probably get
with
the 12,
no losses.
Sunbelt though, less so with James Madison.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I wonder if just because they expand it to 12, that your only ticket in is you'd have to go undefeated in your conference. There's 12 schools out there. I think you would get one. I think you would. I think you would be that 12th spot or whatever it is.
Okay. Does anybody want to watch that? Because think about what you're saying. They get the 12 spot, right? And I don't know if there's buys in the 12, but they're going to play somebody very good.
What's the difference between that and March Madness first round?
Because basketball is far more unpredictable.
But what I'm saying is that what's the difference between it's kind of almost the same blueprint that you're taking in college where it's a number 1 versus a number 16.
Tulane beat USC.
Yeah, but again, this was not a CFP thing. This was a Tulane's thrilled to be there.
Appalachian State.
SC wanted it to go away.
They beat Michigan?
Yes.
I get it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Cinderella sucks. Honestly, I have no time for it.
You hate the movie?
I want the best teams to play against each other. I want to see the heavyweights fight. I don't want to see somebody that, hey, look, I got this thing in here, because all it can do is mess it up.
But sometimes it happens by default because the other team was supposed to win and didn't, and now they're the ones on the outside looking in. I know what you're saying. What you're saying is, let me get the 2 best schools in the country. In college basketball, it happens a lot where instead of getting that opportunity to see the number 1 versus number 5, the 5 team loses.
Good.
But if we're only doing, for instance, let's say in this scenario that we're talking about, that, and this isn't a perfect, but let's say that Oregon is the odd man out. Let's say that Oregon doesn't lose another game the rest of the season, but because we're putting in conference champions here,
because
conference
they got
champions
one loss
there, and they got one loss, and you're sitting there, Oregon, it's clearly one of the 5 or 6 best teams, but we're going to let in Air Force because they ran the table in the Mountain West. It's just, I'd rather see the best teams.
But you can only beat the teams that you can only play the teams you play.
I get it, but we also know we don't have to be ignorant about the whole process.
Yeah, it's not like it's something like, I don't know, again, a Mountain West, but that's playing really, really well. And
Mountain West, they'll have teams get in. Mountain West that's a conference where it's on the outside looking in, but if they go undefeated, they would get into a 12-team playoff.
I don't need any sort of let's keep a good team out because it's cute that James Madison didn't lose a game. That just I'm not here for that.
Maybe I'm passionate about Air Force because they beat San Diego State earlier in the year, 49-10.
The Aztecs are bad this year.
They're awful.
They're bad. I'm going to the game on Saturday night.
Yeah, don't.
You pack up some sunscreen?
Well, no, it's at night. It's a 6 o'clock
We're better
kickoff.
now. We're better off now.
It's Parents' Weekend at San Diego State, so we're going down for a little Aztec versus Nevada. That's who they play.
Go for the pregame and then take off.
I will
have
like
a beer, have some food, and
I'm
then
going to go
get
see
out
a
of there.
kid. I like going to games. We'll see. I'm not I want to see Snapdragon, but I'm not expecting to see great
Snapdragon
football.
actually is nice. I like it.
At night, I have a feeling.
It's nice. They got a lot of the, this is something that they started doing. I don't know if they started at Petco but a lot of the local brews, a lot of the local food. So the experience is good there.
It'd be hard for me not to have a good time.
Yeah.
We'll get it figured out. All right, so we were talking about the Lakers, like what are the questions coming into this season? And I think the big one for me, and I think that the reason that the Lakers are not put in that group that you're talking about,
which, by the way, I don't disagree with people not putting them in that group. I had said this. I think Lakers are a top 5 team in the NBA, but they're 5th.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it. And I think it's because there's two things happening at the same time. I still think there's a lot of skepticism about whether or not Anthony Davis and LeBron James can play enough during the regular season for them to compete with those other teams over the course of 82 games.
Sure.
I think it's fair, and it might not matter, right? Because it's just getting into the tournament as they showed last year. The other part of it is, are the Lakers' best players, and I'm talking beyond just AD and LeBron, their next 2 or 3 best players, are they good enough to match up with the 3rd and 4th and 5th best players of some of these other top teams? Are they as good as Phoenix? Because the deeper you go into the playoffs, the less your depth is tested, right? The rotations shorten
Tighten up. Yeah.
The Lakers have a ton of depth, but does a ton of depth beat more talent? Because the Lakers have a couple of guys at the top, but after that, Reeves is nice, Rui's nice, D'Angelo's nice. There's some guys, but that 3 through the rest of it is different than some other teams, even if it does get to that 10th or 11th guy for the Lakers.
So this is why I think this will help them for now, and then we'll find out as the season goes on. 2 months from today, Lakers will be, let's say by the time you get to Christmas or by the time you get to January 1st. Okay. I think that depth is going to be important for the Lakers. I think the fact that you get to do an 82-game grind with somebody who's going to be in their 21st season and somebody else that has a difficult time playing 60 games plus a year, those are your 2 best players.
Yeah.
I think the 82-game grind, great for the Lakers that they could go to Christian Wood, Rui, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, go down the list of some of the talent, Taurean Prince, Gabe Vincent.
Sure.
Got a lot of good players. I think that by the time you get to January 1st, Pelinka's going to look at this team and say, all right, where are we at? How have we looked against the best in the NBA? How have we looked against Denver? How have we looked against, I'm going to just throw out some elite teams, Clippers and they're healthy, Warriors Phoenix is another one. How do we look against some of those Eastern Conference teams when they played Milwaukee or Boston or some of those other squads? If, hey, we're good, but we're not good enough, then I think he's got a month to figure out, how do I get that talent that you're talking about that might be lacking? I got the depth. I got the 82-game grind depth that I don't have to put everything on the back of LeBron Anthony Davis. This is something that's going to be very unique this year that has not been associated with the Lakers. I think if there's a night that LeBron says, guys, it's a back-to-back, I'm not playing, that's not a guaranteed L for them.
Right.
Where I think in the past that has been.
Very likely.
If Anthony Davis is out for a week, I don't think that means you're losing 3 games in a row. But I think the question that you're bringing up about talent to talent in the playoffs, Boston is incredibly talented. Milwaukee is incredibly talented. Denver's incredibly talented. How do you get into that conversation? That might be something that we sit here by January 1st and we're asking, they have to go make a move to go get to that talent.
I think that's it. You either need to beat them during the regular season, and it's a little harder against the Eastern Conference teams because you only play them twice.
Yeah.
But those, the Phoenixes, the Denvers, if you go in there and you're beating them more often than they're beating you, I think you can start to get some of those answers, at least to a point. But I think you bring up a great point, is the Lakers, that the guys that they have on the roster right now will not be the guys that are on the roster at the end of the line. And not like last year where you totally revamped the whole thing, but maybe a little bit higher. Like last year was kind of middle impact guys that you went out and got, right? Like Rui and D'Angelo, Jared Vanderbilt. No big star name coming in at the deadline. But every year, a big name or two moves at that deadline.
Of course they do.
Every year. And maybe they're in that category for the first time in a while, where they can go a little bit more big game hunting to kind of raise that talent floor up a little bit. So when they do play Denver, Phoenix, Milwaukee, Boston, that top-end talent is more equitable, and you sacrifice a little bit of that depth. Or again, I hope D'Angelo has a great year. I was incredibly impressed by what I heard coming out of his mouth at Media Day.
Yeah.
Looks like he's played pretty well so far. But this is part of the reason he's back, that he's a very movable piece. If you need to do something like that with the salary and everything else, this team will be different. I don't think you're going to have 5 new guys, but you're going to have a couple, I bet, by the time you get to the trade deadline.
Well, here's the question. You're all in. And here's actually.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Here's the good thing with the Lakers. If LeBron decided by the end of this season, let's just say LeBron decided, guys, I'm out. I'm going to go. He retires, whatever it is. I don't think they're left with nothing. They actually have a lot of players that they could say, hey, we could just continue to build and kind of go where they're going. But they're also all in the sense of no one's trying to just make the playoffs.
As long as LeBron James is on your team,
you're always all in. Yeah.
You're all in. This is not LeBron who's 22, and even at that point, you're probably all in Cleveland. But
sure.
It's like, look, we got a nice long runway here. We can start to figure these things out and build it. This is what do we do to fix it now? And it changed. I was singing from the book last year that, hey, listen, let's start thinking about, like, don't do everything. And now it's changed back the other way. It's like, look, he's still a top 10 guy. You still have enough talent to compete at the highest level. We saw it last year. But you do have the cupboard is more stocked than it's been in a while.
I will say this, that a year ago today, we are sitting here.
Oh, my gosh.
Darvin's first year as head coach. What's that going to look like? Russell Westbrook, why is this guy still on the roster? Is he going to be gone soon? Why do you have 39 guards and no wing players? Why do you have – there were so many questions, and then they start the season out, Trav, 2-10.
Ugh.
You got nothing to worry about when it comes to that. I think they got the right roster. I think they have the right amount of players that can get you through an 82-game grind. They're not going to be – remember Anthony Davis said in Media Day, he said, we were starting 2 steps back from the rest of the league, and then we were just trying to play catch-up the rest of the way. I think this year, those are none of the questions. But the question comes up now is, are you talented enough to go up with the big boys?
The worst-case scenario coming into this season is after what you said, they were 2-10 last year.
Yeah.
Through 12 games here, they're 6-6. Right? That's kind of what's like, it's kind of a weird, slow start, but it's 6-6. There's nothing but tons of games left. 2-10, it was like, this is over. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, also, too, I mean, we've lost 2 in a row in the preseason, so keep that one in mind.
I always go back to what I said last year. Can we just win one of these, please?
I know.
Just one. And I'm like, Slee, it's the preseason. Who cares? 2-10. You were right about that. Hot. Who's cold? That's next. Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, it is coming up this Saturday. I think I've mentioned this to you guys. Sierra Subaru of Monrovia, for all that they do within the local community through Subaru Love Promise initiatives. This Saturday, they got the pet adoption that we've been talking about all month long. Subaru Loves Pets and Real Bark are teaming up at Sierra Subaru of Monrovia to host a pet adoption event this Saturday, October 21st. Let me just kind of paint the picture out here for you. If you've been kind of looking, hey, I'd love to adopt a dog, I'd love to adopt a pet, this is your chance to do it, and you could do it at a dealership, a partner of ours that cares so much about the local community, are doing events every single month, multiple events that are at their dealership or within the community. For every pet adopted, Sierra Subaru of Monrovia will donate $100 and a new Bark Box parent kit. Make a dog's day with Sierra Subaru and Real Bark. Head to sierrasubaru.com for more information or just visit them off the 210 and 605 freeway.
Welcome the new partner here at 710 ESPN, NextGen. NextGen, the official AC, heat, and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans.
You're as cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGen, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to NextGen. And yes, time for Who's Hot. Grayson from University of Washington for winning $30,000 on college game day for kicking a field goal. Take it away, producer M.
All right. So college game day was in Washington, and they had Grayson told a story about how he got there. He camped out 4 p.m. the day before. So Friday at 4 p.m. he was camping out so he can get a good spot for college game day. He had a sign that says, "Kicking's easy." And so Pat McAfee and Kirk Herbstreit were like, "Okay, kid, if kicking's so easy," and they already picked someone to do this, but they're like, "Let's get this kid and see if he can do it." And so Grayson goes to kick the first one, doesn't make it. Pat McAfee gets him another chance to kick the for $30,000 instead of $60,000. Kicks it, gets it. So he ends up getting the $30,000. I'm sure it's going to go to his college fund. We hope so. It goes to the college fund. But what would you do in that situation?
I was just what you were talking about right there. $30,000 in my pocket as a college student. Forget about it.
Buying a caddy.
I would have been in so much trouble so quickly doing dumb things. You know what I mean? Just buying stupid stuff that I don't really need. That $30,000, which by the time you're done getting Uncle Sam gets his taste, you probably got what, 20? Let's say, maybe a little bit less than that, 18. I'm out of money in 3 weeks.
Yep.
We're taking a trip somewhere. We're going to go do this. I am just going to burn through that money so darn fast.
I thought you were going to say you were investing it right away.
I would have invested in beers at McBurley's.
I know. But even if you did that, you still have $29,000.
No, you're only getting a portion, right? And I'm
not sure if he's a in-state or out-of-state student at Washington, so not sure what his tuition costs.
Have you ever been to a college game day, the football version of it?
No.
Em, have you been?
I've only been to college basketball.
Yeah, so I did game day once when they came to, it was an SMU University of Houston game when I was living in Houston. And I was expecting, like you were saying, the kid camped out for a day or so to be in a good spot. We showed up a half hour after it started and walked right in.
What?
And it was because it was a weird week where there were no great matchups. Houston, oddly, was like one of the last remaining unbeatens. They were like 8-0, but hadn't played anybody any good. And they announced it just a few days before. In Houston, University of Houston, it's a commuter school. It does not have a ton of like on-campus presence. And then you watch it back on TV, and it looks amazing. They're so good at making that thing look. And then you get what you got at Washington, where there were thousands of people there. It's a really cool event.
That's the vision of the whole thing, right? Like, that's what they want.
Sure.
They want it to look like that.
Yeah, UVA, so they do the same version for college game. They have different guys that are on the set and everything. So UVA has hosted it multiple times for college game day for basketball, like usually when they go against Duke or UNC or something. But the difference there is it's not, early morning in the fall. It's early morning in the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
And so you're there, you're freezing cold in your jackets and stuff. You're not allowed to have like awnings, anything with like a cover on you, so you can't tent out overnight. So it's a commitment, and I respect Grayson for that, but also respect Grayson for trying to troll them too to begin with.
He got $30,000 by being a little bit of a troll.
Yeah,
Good
he
for
wins.
him.
Yes.
He wins.
All right, so I'm going to do the Who's Cold.
And now Who's Cold? A Connecticut bear stole from a family's freezer over the weekend. I hate when the bear starts stealing, man.
All right. So a Connecticut bear was caught on a Ring camera. I'm assuming this is probably like their garage kind of fridge situation. But the bear got inside, opened the freezer, took what looked like to be a family-sized lasagna, and then left with it out the door. So I lived in Connecticut for 2 years.
Yeah.
There are bears around, and you see them all the time.
Well, okay,
Let me help you. No.
I just watched.
I just watched the whole video.
Okay, but what would bears around? Like, would you see them frequently?
Yes.
Okay.
So, because there's a lot of woods.
Sure.
It's not, I guess, and also if you're not living in Hartford or in somewhere else, it's very woodsy. So a lot of times we'd have like bear traffic, and they'd cross the road, and you'd have to stop.
Okay.
And I would go hiking, and I can't go hiking alone and have to have a bear spray with me. And
Right.
everything. They're not grizzly bears; they're black bears. But anyway, yes.
By the way, out here, there's always videos that come out.
Monrovia,
up for
Bradbury,
Altadena, everything
they're
just
up in those
facing the Mount Wilson. That whole area.
But the bear's pretty cold because it stole the frozen food, so I'm not sure how it's going to eat it.
Okay, so
let it sit out.
First off, this guy he was in the kitchen. So this was not a garage situation. He straight up is in the kitchen.
But which kitchen is like woods facing? I feel like so it's an odd space for the kitchen to be in.
So backyard, there's a window open.
Oh, it comes through the window.
The back kitchen, there's a window open, and you go through that window, and the refrigerator's right in front of you. He opens the bottom drawer. Grabs,
as if he's done it before.
As if he's done it.
He knew what was in there.
There was no hesitation. Grabbed it and then went back through that kitchen, and he's out the. By the way, very polite too. The way he got in, came out. I
didn't break.
The only
anything.
thing he didn't do is he didn't close the freezer, which is a little bit of an a-hole move.
I guess if you grow up in an area where you have animals like that, you just kind of learn to live with it. Because where I live, there are coyotes, there are rattlesnakes, there are bobcats and things like that.
Giraffes.
Once in a blue moon, you'll get an alert like there's a mountain lion like somewhere, and it could be 25 miles away up in the hills, but they'll come down every once in a while. A bear seems like a totally different game. Maybe you get used to it, but I'm not messing
And again,
with
it's a
any
black bear as opposed to a brown bear.
How big is a black bear?
Black bear, depending again on the age.
Big enough.
It's a bear.
To jack you up.
Yeah, it's a bear.
So I don't care whether it's.
So the black bears are more scared of us than they are of you.
That's what they want you.
No, as
It's
opposed to the brown bears
thing.
that are here in California. The ones in California and the West don't mess with it at all. You don't mess with one on the East Coast, but they are different.
I go after grizzlies.
They're more like
go
the teddy
after-
bears.
Hey, you like lasagna? Come and get it.
Yeah,
He's-
What's
he's
the deal
called
with that
Garfield.
salmon?
If that bear would have showed up at my house, it would be filled on taco supplies because I got plenty.
The bear could have
Bring
ate.
it tomorrow, eh?
I will.
The bear could have gone 3 times over and got some tacos. There was still plenty of food left.
NextGen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3-NEXTGen or visit nextgenaaronplumbing.com. Good Monday night game tonight. Back
Yeah,
to
it
back at SoFi.
Yeah.
You said there was a million Cowboy fans at
So many
Disneyland.
Cowboys fans.
Were
at
they in the
Disneyland.
uniform?
Not in the uniform. It was actually just like a lot of hats, some jerseys, and I think most of the jerseys were old ones. So I got some Wittens out there and stuff
Okay.
like that. But it was, it was a mix.
I did not know the answer to this, so I'm not putting you on the spot because I didn't know it either. Do you know what the Cowboy fan uniform is?
The cowboy, is it with a cowboy hat?
No,
or no?
like the football Cowboy fan uniform. I didn't know. Kirk's like, you're going to see the uniform. I'm like, what's the
And
uniform?
then once you see it, you see
Once
it
you see
everywhere.
they all wear it. It is white Air Force Ones with high white socks, denim shorts.
Nike socks, likely.
Yep, denim shorts and a Cowboy jersey.
Yep.
That is their. And when the Cowboys came to town, it was last year, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Hom?
It was 80% of the people wearing a Cowboy jersey were in that uniform.
And sometimes they're iced out.
Interesting.
Sometimes
Yep.
they have a little jewelry.
Yep. Sometimes a hat, sometimes not.
yeah.
But jersey, denim shorts, Air Force Ones.
Yep, and maybe like a calf tat or something like that too.
I mean that's
Hey,
just
what's
that's
up, Hom?
everybody. It seems like now is tatted up.
So is tonight just the battle of which franchise will be more disappointing?
The battle of mid.
Somebody is going to think they're good when they're probably not,
Yeah.
and someone's going to get confirmation that they're not very good. Those are the two results tonight. Whoever wins will be like, all right, we're okay. We beat the Chargers or we beat the Cowboys. We're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Whoever loses that game is going to have a very serious moment of, hey, are we a bad football team? Because neither one of these teams have looked anything other than mediocre through the first 5 weeks of the year.
And they also have, I think they have, maybe this is more just from a Charger perspective, but there's always expectations that Chargers coming into the year, especially this season, the question about Brandon Staley, hey, is this dude, look, are you guys going to keep doing this? The first 2 games I lost, remember, they've won 2 games in a row. Mm-hmm. It's almost sometimes by default, it feels like.
It didn't feel like they outplayed the
No,
other team.
it does.
either time.
And they have the talent that they should be beating teams. I agree with you. This is a good one tonight. This is an exciting game.
It's an exciting game because they're good brands.
Yeah.
The Chargers have a ton of good players. The Cowboys have names and we just get the Cowboys rammed down our throat, so you're familiar with them, right? If they put the Jacksonville Jaguars on TV, national TV.
Yeah.
They're all national TV on standalone games. The way that the Cowboys are, you would know all those guys the way you do the Cowboys. They're not. The Jags are a better football team.
Do you know what sucks about this? And it is just kind of takes me back to the old days. If the Chargers were still in San Diego, and it was a Chargers,
there's your uniform.
Oh, there you go.
That's it.
I wear that all the time. That actually makes sense. I think I've now seen that at bars and stuff like that. But Trav, would you agree with this? If the Chargers were still in San Diego, and you had Chargers Cowboys on a Monday night game, we'd be sitting here like this from San Diego, and it'd be 3.5 hours of just talking about that game. Here, we just mention them for a quick second. It's like, oh, by the way, they play a Monday Night Football.
They've made their bed. They made their bed.
Damn.
You know what I mean? They knew that. There's no universe where you could tell me that they thought they could come here and grab the collective of LA's attention. First of all, there's 2.5 teams that are able to do that. It's
Dodgers, Lakers, and USC.
SC when they're good.
Yeah.
Right? That's everybody else has You know who else does a pretty good job at that? The LA Kings. That I'm a Ducks fan, but I'm down in Orange County, so it's a little different.
They have their fan base. Their fan base is there.
For sure. The Chargers are a work in progress fan base-wise. If we're being honest, so are the Rams. The Rams might have a slight advantage on the Chargers right now, but it's not a million miles better.
But Rams are actually a topic frequently. And it's not just because we carry the Rams. It's not.
They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They went to the playoffs 4 out of the last 6 years.
Yeah.
That's a good football team. They win games in the playoffs.
They have a hot young coach.
They've got the hot young coach.
Now that's not like a stat there. We don't need that. She had like her own statistics on
I'm
that
not talking about
Not
looks. I'm talking about
winning.
in conversation.
Winning.
Okay, what were you thinking, Al?
She's like, he's hot. I love
Sliwa
the
went
guy.
right to the cosmetics of it all, right?
He's also expecting soon. Any
Yeah,
day
that's
now.
right. He is.
Yeah.
He said he would miss the game for the birth of his child. I think I believe him.
Yeah, that's.
I hope.
I believe him too.
I think I believe him.
Yeah, I believe him
too. He's pretty intense dude. Intense dude. The Dump. It's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. 1-800-9-million. You know that number by now, right? That's the number for Sweet James. That's the number you call for the best attorneys in America. That's what they've been awarded. Best attorneys in America. So how do you win something like that? By being great at it, by winning cases 98% of the time, by getting the biggest settlements, by having the insurance company know what you're all about, so they're not going to try to pass off some piddly little settlement. They're going to make sure that you get what you deserve, what you're entitled to, that justice gets taken care of, right? This is what Sweet James accident attorneys do day after day after day, making sure that you get the medical care that you need, that your car gets fixed the right way, and of course, the compensation that you are entitled to. If you are hurt in an accident, make the call that I've made, make the call that my friends have made, make the call that my family has made. Sweet James, 1-800-9-million. That's 1-800-900-0000. You're talking mega stars. You're talking the best of the best. Why call anybody else? Call Sweet James. All right, so we got game 1 of the National League Championship Series is taking place today, and it'll be on the day where Bryce Harper is celebrating his 31st birthday. So
and
happy
it's on our
birthday to Bryce.
airwaves, so we will have the national broadcast of the NLCS at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Which is why the 2 shows after us are going to be from 1 to 3 and then 3 to 5. So
There
in
you
case
go.
you're wondering why
Hey.
Mason
Wait a
Allen ends
minute
at
here.
3, that's why.
Wait a minute, I got a question here.
Yeah, it's a good question because I'm thinking of the same thing.
Why don't we go 10 to 12?
If we're losing, everybody just loses 45 minutes or so?
Where the hell's Bergman? What the hell's going on here?
Just the disrespect, Slee. What are you going to do?
Hey, guys.
Wouldn't
they
you
want to listen to our show
divide?
full 3 hours.
Wouldn't you divide the extra time amongst all 3 of your shows?
I mean, that's how I would do
Okay,
it.
overtime,
Well,
homie.
the whole
That's right.
full 3.
All right.
That's right. Bryce Harper will be celebrating his 31st birthday during that game. And you know what he did? He did the thing that almost never happens.
Okay.
He was the child prodigy, the phenom, the can't-miss kid who didn't miss. Because that you can, LeBron James didn't miss. Cover of Sports Illustrated when he was, 17? Something like that?
Yeah.
Serena, Venus. The Williams sisters were can't miss. Neither one of them missed. Serena might be the greatest player of all time. Tiger Woods on Mike Douglas at 3 years old was a can't miss kid, and he didn't miss, right? So is Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was like 15 or 16 years old as the next big thing, and he is. He's a multiple-time MVP. His team wins in the playoffs. He hasn't won the World Series yet, but that might change in a couple of weeks.
He's
here.
a leader.
He's a leader. He's
clutch.
He's box office too. Like he's fun to watch. He's got style. He's got the little extra thing that a guy like Mike Trout doesn't have. He's eminently watchable.
You want to go see Harper play?
For sure.
I'm not necessarily signing up to go see Mike Trout play.
No,
every
no.
day.
Listen, I disagree with that. I'm signing up. I want to see Mike Trout
It's
play.
a different person, though, right? Like
Yeah.
a baseball fan wants to go watch Mike Trout because he's awesome. A
Yeah.
sports fan wants to see Bryce Harper because he's Bryce Harper.
Because he's going to run the bases and make eyes with
Do you
Arcia.
want his playoff stats
Sure.
real quick? He's played in 42 playoff games.
Yeah, we spent on good
including
teams.
the Nationals.
285, 45 hits, 14 homers, 28 RBIs, 31 runs scored. It's not just you were in the playoffs. It's on the biggest stage, the biggest moments. He's delivered. He's hit clutch home runs. He's been a part of big plays. That's big time.
He could have gotten the World Series if it was the Nationals still, because the Nationals won the year after he went to Philly too. which is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's right.
He's lived up to the 13-year contract that the Phillies gave him. Like
100%.
there has not been a moment where like, what did we buy? He's been terrific.
Even with the Tommy John, he still came back. as soon as
He's
he
been
could.
amazing, and he's all the things that we've talked about. Mike Trout is a better baseball player than Bryce Harper is. Like Mike Trout won the MVP, I think it's 3 or 4 times. He's finished in the top 5 like 7 times. It's bananas like that. Give me Bryce Harper's career all day long. All day
I'm
long.
with you.
Because he's
Yeah,
a
I'm with you on
2-time
that.
MVP, but like those stats you just read, Slee, he's playing in games that matter.
And Trout, after August 1st, they don't matter.
He's going to probably go to the Phillies game.
That would be weird, right?
That would be weird.
Ryan, did
Unless
you
he's going to sign up.
Did you lose a bet, or that's for the game tonight?
Oh, this is for the game.
He's a
baby.
Charger
He's
fan.
a Charger fan.
I'm well aware.
I've got a list that you can fit it in my wallet.
I
Sorry,
thought
Brian.
maybe I thought there was a previous game that he lost and that he had to wear. We don't see that one often.
Flea turned 61. I'm still waiting for my apology, Slee.
Well, technically,
I didn't get it. He gave it to
I
you.
got it,
Doesn't
and I
count.
transferred over. But I got it more just like I had to like hold his hand through the apology. I'm like, hey, would you like to apologize too? And he's
That's
like,
all right.
sure.
He's all right. So happy birthday, Flea. See, I can forgive and forget. Happy 61.
Okay, also what
to
I know Flea from, so obviously he's Red Hot Chili Peppers and he's great and famous, but he also is the voice of a character on the Wild Thornberrys that I watched as a kid. So I watched this show. It's like an animated show on like Nickelodeon or whatever, and he does like he does like the voice of one of the characters.
Oh,
Go
wow.
watch it sometime. It's great.
Is it a kid show?
It's a kid's show.
Okay.
It's the Wild Thornberrys, and he plays like the young kid that's like really wild and crazy.
It's on brand.
And it goes it's like that. I mean, go look it up. It sounds like
Lionel Messi made his league debut for FC Barcelona. 1-0 win against crosstown rival Espanyol. Am I getting that right?
Sure. Yeah.
At the Estadio Olímpic Luis Companys, Barcelona. Forgive me, my Spanish
That's actually
is
pretty good.
Not great. 17 years old, playing in the biggest stage in the world.
Another guy lives up to it.
Yeah. Was he a phenom as a kid? I honestly don't know.
He was
17 is a kid.
Well, I was just going to say 17. Some of these guys, I think even in the Beckham, they're getting signed to, because they go through the league. There's their younger division or whatever it is. But you're 17 years old and you're representing FC Barcelona.
Yeah, one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Can't do the math on that. So yes, living up to expectations. He'll go down as
Freddie Adu.
Probably the greatest.
Freddie Adu is the opposite of this, right? Freddie Adu was Freddie Adu is going to put American soccer on the map.
Yeah, that was the problem. Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And that's the most common story.
The problem is you're trying to put American soccer on the map.
That didn't help either.
Christian Pulisic is doing as best as he can, but he's also not as good as the rest of those guys.
No, he's good.
But he's not on the same level as going to take America to go to the semifinals of the World Cup.
And the United States are never in a real conversation when it comes to soccer. They're just not.
Think about all the challenges that come along with trying to become, hey, you're going to be the greatest that ever was. Yeah, I'm 13. What do you want from me? Like Jennifer Capriati, right? She shows up, and I really do think she was 13. She started winning professional tournaments. And by the time she was in her 20s, the thing had completely come off the rails. That's normal.
Yeah,
sure. Tiger didn't come off the rails until he was in his 30s, but he had also won 14 majors prior to that, and he got it done. And it's just the guys that can navigate that, and maybe the greatest of them all, and maybe they're exactly the same. Serena and LeBron are the two that really haven't missed. Had little teeny tiny little hiccups along the way, yelling at an umpire, the decision, whatever it is, right? But they were tabbed as they're going to be the greatest of all time, and they hit it.
We got one right now, too, that's in the process. Wembanyama is talked about as, watch out for this guy. It's going to be one of the... Listen, Michael and I were talking about him on Friday night. He had a game. They're actually showing some... I think it was Friday night. He was like 10 of 13 from the field, hitting stupid jumpers, getting to the basket, doing a little bit of everything. And Michael and I were kind of trying to predict what he's going to do. People are saying he's going to be the greatest ever. How can you attach that to a player before they even played a game? But that's the next one, at least from some of that list that we're talking about.
All right, help me out with this one, Emily. There was a sketch on SNF or on Saturday Night Live about Taylor Swift and the NFL.
Yep, so we got to go all the way to 12:55 to get to this. So sorry, guys, I didn't bring it up earlier. But yes.
I saved us.
Yeah, exactly. It was in the middle of the show. They did a sketch of the Fox Sports pregame show, and each of the different cast members played a couple different characters. They talked through, us and Taylor Swift in the NFL, and Pete Davidson dressed up like a Swiftie. But then Travis Kelce was at the end. He had a little cameo by himself.
Was it funny?
He had like one line, and so it's not like he could be...
No, the sketch at large.
I thought the sketch was funny, and it also clearly was written by somebody who likes sports and also likes Taylor Swift, because a lot of the conversation was not like, okay, not to offense to like most people who talk about sports, they're not talking about the Swifties the way that Swifties talk about Swifties. So it was clearly written by someone who is in that world.
Did you see it, Mace?
I did.
Was it funny?
Medium funny.
Okay.
Yeah, medium
I thought it was funny enough.
Yeah,
it's funny enough.
A little medium action.
Medium.
Yeah.
I didn't laugh out loud.
Low key.
Did you pick up your phone in the middle of the sketch? Like, hey, what else is going on out there?
What else is happening out there? No, and they showed up and they were on a date and blah, blah, blah.
See, that's exactly. 12:55, we talked about it, and here we go.
Yeah. Julia Louis-Dreyfus says that she has no idea about a Seinfeld reunion. Quote, yeah, I just saw it last night, and I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So if you were hoping that we're going to get our Seinfeld reunion...
There's no Seinfeld reunion without Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
No, you can't do it.
No.
You can't,
or just not, yeah.
You need,
Elaine, no...
You need all four.
Yeah.
You have to have all four. Or else,
you know what's weird? I watched...
Kramer's been canceled.
Over the weekend, I don't want to interrupt your jump.
No, you're all right.
No, you're good.
We're good. Go ahead, Mace.
No, I was going to say, I watched John, our friend Tom Russo, is the executive producer of Frasier. I watched the first 2 episodes of the reboot of Frasier, and it's actually very good.
I didn't know there was a reboot of Frasier.
Saw on Paramount Plus.
My headphones are shredding.
Oh, God, I could do these. It's still there, but
it almost looks like a scab or something.
Yeah, it looks like he's got
looks like you got attacked by a vampire.
You got bit with 2 teeth.
My headphones
Mace got in a fight over the weekend or
something.
Yeah,
it was a throwdown.
You should see the other guy, right?
Yeah. No,
there's a Frasier reboot?
Yeah, and it's actually really funny.
Kelsey Grammer's in it?
Kelsey
Grammer.
Grammer.
I'm glad you say it's funny because I read one review that didn't like it.
I really liked it. I thought it was very funny.
Tom was nervous about it. This is our buddy that's in our fantasy football league who's worked with Kelsey Grammer for years, but he felt good. He felt like they had a good thing, so I'm glad to hear it's good.
Yeah, I thought it was
I'm going to
really
watch
good.
it when I
The
go on
brother?
this
Is
trip.
the brother in it?
No brother.
Okay, so here's the premise. Freddie Crane, who was born at the end of Cheers to Lilith and Frasier, is now, not surprisingly, completely the opposite of Frasier. He is grown up. He's a fireman.
Yep.
He's a man's man. And,
he dropped out of Harvard, is what it was.
Right.
He became a fireman. So Dad's,
I like the premise.
Yeah.
And so it's Frasier. Frasier's made it big in talk radio, and he went to Chicago and became Oprah in Chicago. But then he realizes that it's at the cost of not being a dad at all. So he goes back to Boston to be Freddie's dad.
Oh, so it's set in Boston.
And scene.
Okay.
There you go.
And scene.
Opening up.
And by the way, Freddie lives on one side of the hall, and
they live
Dad
together?
lives on the other side of the hall.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Plenty of room for hijinks.
Yeah, lots of hijinks.
So it's
exactly.
the same concept that John Mahoney and Frasier had. How
Yes.
they were two fish out of water. They've just reversed the roles.
You know what we should do?
What?
A little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
So you were listening, John. So Emily is a born Steeler fan. Right?
Okay.
She grew up in a family of Steeler fans.
Steeler fans travel very well, and when you go to that game,
Yep.
you will be in good company.
Steelers.
A lot of silver or a lot of black and gold. There.
So we were trying to figure out a little wager because she's not
who
anti-rated.
is she betting?
Me.
Okay.
Me. So she has, what is it, a beanie, M, that I would have to
I have
wear
a
during the
beanie
show?
and I have a shirt that you can wear.
I think I have an idea. You guys all tell me what you think. So over the weekend, USC lost, and Michael Penix, the quarterback at Washington, assumed now the favorite to become,
for good reason,
the Heisman Trophy winner. So College Game Day was at Washington, and Desmond Howard came up with a chant. And I think the loser has to do this chant on social.
No.
Here is Desmond Howard's chant in honor of Michael Penix.
He's going to bring that big penis energy. He's going to bring that big penis energy. He's going to bring that big penis energy.
Interesting.
That's right, Harry.
Yeah.
Let's go,
Em,
baby.
on behalf of both of us, I think we're not going to do that.
No, not on
you
that.
guys are chicken.
Not on that. Highly
He's going to
inappropriate.
bring
It's not even
that
funny.
big
It
penis
has nothing to
energy.
do with this.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's
I'm
it.
good. Em,
That's
on
interesting.
behalf of both of us, we're good. We'll find something
I like
else.
the out of the box thinking there,
There
Jay.
you go.
It's good.
That's-
It's
So
good.
you guys can bet $5.
Trying stuff. No, I mean, there's got to be a bet. There's got to be a wager.
We all dodged a bullet last night.
You got my mom. My mom was freaking out because she was with you guys.
My mom, too, was freaking out.
In that boat. Well, it would have knocked out 13 people, including all three of you, both of our moms.
Yep.
both
Did you
Mason
not
and
have
I's moms.
the Bills last night?
No, I had Miami earlier
Okay.
in the day.
They should have lost.
You had
I
a
was
relaxing day.
I was through. Brian went through with the Rams fairly easily.
Oh, you had the Rams
that's
yesterday,
right.
Brian.
Confident the whole
And
way.
did you
Buffalo
guys-
should have
Did you guys
lost
hear
that
the
game.
hear the bad news?
About Greg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year somebody does this.
Yep.
And Greg, what happens is you make your pick and you have to hit
Save.
pick. If you don't hit save pick, it's very easy to be duped into thinking that
You made your
you
pick.
made your pick.
Yeah.
Greg did it, so he's out.
I'm not
Yeah.
the commissioner of this pool. I'm merely a participant. Should he not be able? If he hasn't officially
No,
picked,
no.
This
he
came
can't pick
this-
Monday
Hard
night.
and fast rule.
This came up one year, and Ben Lyons did that, and then made a huge deal out of it, and it got really ugly. And Ben has never been in the pool since.
He's been suspended. He has a
He was like,
3-year
I wanted
suspension.
my money back. It's like, no.
3-year
And-
suspension.
No, it's like $25.
And, yeah,
don't
and
have to
he
fight
went
for
on
your
to
money
win
back.
the pool that year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, the rule is always, I don't care what happens, even if the computer screwed you.
You're
if
responsible
you don't
for
have
making
your
your pick.
confirmation number, you're out.
Yeah. So
when Mason and I pay for everybody on our show to be in it, and so when I sent the email,
Slee, why did we have to pay our own way?
Because you had to pay.
Technically, you two should have paid for Jorge and Emily.
I invited.
Come on, big high roller.
I don't know if I invited Jorge.
Come on, big high roller. Go ahead.
Mason and I basically spent
$25.
Mason and I basically spent $200 on this pool. So 3 people glom onto me and 3 glom onto Mason, including both of our moms.
Okay.
So, the interesting thing is when I sent the email out, I gave like 20 scenarios. Brian, I think it's the first time you've ever had to read it, and basically I said, if you do anything and it's not 100% correct, you're out.
Yes.
You got the message, right? When I said that.
Yeah, it was very complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated. By the way, and at the end of the day, I actually put in Brian's
Right.
pick.
I still couldn't figure it
After all
out.
is said and done, I put Brian's pick in. But we always get it right.
Okay.
So you're actually tapping
I
Brian's
put my mom's in.
choice.
You put your mom's in.
I put my mom's in, too. Yeah,
the
my mom
moms
could
feel
never
like
figure out.
Because the app or the website, it's a little janky.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little janky, and you have to know how to use it. My mom would never be able to navigate.
So I wanted to ask you about the big Saturday.
Before you do that.
Wait.
Before
I'm so pissed. I was willing, but tell me if I'm right about this.
Okay.
When Mason said on Friday he was going, I said to Greg, if I had $100,000 to bet, I would bet Mason will not show up. But if I did that, then you probably would have gone, right? To prove me wrong.
Correct. Although I never committed fully.
No.
I said I'll try. And ultimately
Said you were interested.
At the end of the day, I wanted to get stoned. One wanted to get drunk. Nobody wanted to be the designated driver.
So here's how it went for me. When we were talking on Friday.
Yep.
And you said, yeah, I'd like to come. I said, great. Look, see you then.
Yeah.
And then later, I don't know, 5 o'clock that night,
I asked
you
for your address.
texted me. You're like, hey, send me your address. That was the first time I'm like,
he might come.
He might come.
Yeah.
Like the asking for the address gave me not a lot of hope, but at least a glimmer, a little glimmer of hope.
There's a Hail Mary out there.
Yeah.
Trav called it buying signs.
It was a buying sign. It was a buying
sign.
signal.
Yeah,
buying
and
signs.
then on, I don't know, noon or so on Saturday, you're like, yeah, not happening.
I can't. It's too far. It's like isn't that like a 2-hour drive for me?
I left
an hour and a half.
It's an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
I left for Pasadena. I think I hit 3 rest stops.
There you go. So what? How was it?
It was great.
Did you barbecue or what'd you do?
We got a taco guy.
Oh, nice.
Flavio came over, and we had 3 different types of tacos. We had rice, beans, and all the side stuff. 3 different types of salsa. Had a lot of stuff.
Great food, great company. SC got demolished.
Destroyed.
There was a lot going on.
We didn't even have to watch the game. We had it off halfway through the second quarter.
I didn't think Caleb Williams was. I didn't think it was possible he could play that bad.
No, it was pretty surprising.
That was an awful performance. Awful.
And now it makes you wonder, is he a lock to be the number 1 overall pick?
Sam Farmer wrote last week, by the way, he's not a lock. Can I make in the LA Times?
Because we hit on something. Can't you make even a bigger case that this is really the first time that you've seen him have a bad performance? Correct. Okay. They've won. They started out the season. This is the first lot. Were they 6-0 right now? Or 6-1 now? In some of those previous games, if he's not excellent, they lose to Arizona. Yeah. If he's not excellent, they lose in some of these other games. It actually almost makes the point. I know he didn't have a good game against Notre Dame, but he has to play perfect every single week just to be in the conversation with some of these other teams that they're playing. He's doing everything that when he has a bad game, they get their asses kicked by 28 points. It just actually shows for me
a lot of warts.
It shows for me just how valuable and useful he is. If he doesn't play perfect, they get ran.
I would have no issue with him being the number 1 pick, but I just wonder if I had the number 1 pick.
What would your reservation be?
Those 3 interceptions made 0 sense to me. He's smarter than that. He's always been smarter than that.
Good players have bad nights.
And Notre Dame, the offensive line for USC was exposed. Notre Dame
this is the
got
point.
to him and got to him and got to him and got him to scramble and got him down. The offensive line
has always been a problem. The
Last
defense
year,
has been a problem. It was better last year. Their special
year.
Teams have been a problem from a good portion of this year as well. It's just that he's so good, he's able to cover up with some of the offensive line. I'll run it. it. I'll throw it. I'll make all these unbelievable plays. And he ran into a team that he couldn't cover it against.
Yeah.
And he had a bad
And he had a bad game.
And it's just all of those things all at the same time. You lose by 4 touchdowns.
They sent 4 and 5 after him every single play, and he was scrambled. And he made some frustration throws. That third interception in particular. Stop trying to do the fancy stuff. Don't do the jump throw thing. It's like there's
pressing.
a little too much.
He was pressing. How many games do you guys think they lose? Like if I set it at 2.5 right now, over or under?
Take the under.
I'm taking over.
Take the under
for sure.
Taking over.
I think they find a way.
I think they're going to lose one more. I don't think they'll lose 2 more.
Did they play Washington and Oregon?
They do.
Washington
here,
at
Oregon, and Eugene.
Yeah, Utah,
and UCLA
Washington,
still,
Oregon,
and Utah.
and UCLA.
They're losing 3 or 4 games.
Utah
for sure.
at the Coliseum.
3 or 4 games?
Yeah, they've lost one.
Mace,
so if they lose,
they should have lost to Arizona.
Yeah. So if they, by the way, how about Arizona going into Pullman and winning 44-6?
Yeah.
But wait, I'm surprised that you
4 games?
I said 3 or 4 games. Here's why. They've already got one.
Yeah.
They're not beating Oregon.
I don't know that.
Not in Eugene.
I don't know that.
Oregon's really
I think we do.
good.
I don't.
And you think they're okay? So you're picking them to beat Oregon, or are you picking them to beat Washington?
Here's what I'm saying. I don't know which of these they're going to lose, but they're going to lose one more.
Wait a minute.
And by the way, they're
Washington, Oregon, Utah, UCLA. They're going to win 3 of those 4.
Yeah,
they're losing 2.
They're losing 2. They'll lose to Oregon.
I said I
they'll
think they could lose 3 of those 4.
They'll beat Utah on Saturday. I'll be there for that game. They will.
Utah's not a
Washington
lock.
is a really tough match. At Oregon, I think, is the loss.
That's the
UCLA
one.
at home. UCLA looked terrible over the weekend. I think they'll beat him.
UCLA's offensive line is worse than USC's.
But Mace, why give them why give them the benefit of the doubt?
Because Caleb Williams is that good.
Yeah.
That's
he had
why.
one bad game. What's the likelihood that
This
he
is
has
the
another
first time they
3-interception
played a
game?
good team. This is the first time all year that they played a good team, and they lost by 28. And they should have.
Yeah.
You could at least make the case that there's one more
The
loss
argument
of
for
what
you
they had.
guys, Slee and Ireland, is that they already should be a 3-loss team. That this, if you kind of run it back, Arizona had them in their
Arizona
pocket.
had 'em.
Arizona had them beat.
Yeah.
Colorado, if that game lasts
Ran out of
3 more
time.
minutes,
Yeah.
Colorado beats them. They got very, very lucky to get out of there when they did. And then the Arizona State
won
game,
the other ones.
They were
That's
never
fine.
in trouble of losing it, but
Yeah.
they were a 5-touchdown favorite. And that was a game in the fourth quarter.
It's a one-score game in
Like
the fourth.
they have some real fundamental flaws that
They do.
won't get fixed.
They do, but they also have Caleb Williams, who, despite his performance on Saturday, I still believe is the #1 pick overall for the NFL next year. And the odds of him having another 3-interception game are very, very slim.
Just so you know,
Yeah.
that if you want to come to whenever I do this again,
Yeah.
you can come and do whatever you want at my house. Jack can come and do whatever he wants at his
Yeah,
house.
but including stay over, because that's what they
Yeah,
were
I
saying.
would've
you
had
can
to
have,
stay
you can have
over.
to Uber
Yeah,
back
no, they
both
could.
ways.
I'd have to stay over.
That is
I saw the layout of the
that's
house. There's
that's
space.
north of $100 Uber ride
Should
from
we bring-
Venice to
Oh,
South
no, it's
Orange
all
County.
Look, I mean, come on.
Should we bring sleeping bags? Remember sleeping bags?
Be
That was
careful
a
what
thing.
you agree to here.
Okay,
No,
we got.
we're not sleeping at my house, or
Well-
you're not sleeping at my house. But you're welcome to
Just
come.
got to sleep one
By the
off.
way, did the mystery of the pot ever get
Yes.
solved? Where is it?
Oh, it just showed up on my kitchen table after. So Jorge and I went to game
Dodger
one of the
game.
Dodger series.
Yeah.
And my boys were there.
Yeah.
And so Jorge and I are sitting with my 2 sons and a bunch of their friends. And Jorge starts to grill Michael, my youngest, and Jorge goes, "Hey man, where's the pot?" Michael turns to me and goes, "I think Jorge's asking me for weed." I'm like, that's not what he's asking. He's asking about the chili pot. And then Bobby kind of like does one of like he's listening. He goes, no, I took it over to my friend Hayden's and we made some food and all these things. So
Yeah, right.
Hayden had it.
right.
Right.
So what did I
Hayden
say when the very first time I told the
That's
story?
true.
The answer
100%.
to this lives in your kids.
It was
one of your kids has
the
taken
very
the pot.
next day. It was. I get up to make my coffee in the morning and it's just sitting right on the kitchen.
What's the
counter.
name of that kind of bong? It's a
Gravity bong.
Gravity
A GB.
bong. Yeah, a GB. There you go. Did you find out? Was there a GB?
It was allegedly used to make mashed potatoes, and if you believe
Mashed
that,
potatoes.
because you know what 22-year-old guys usually do
let's
together.
Get together
Let's
and
get
make
together and make
mashed
some mashed
potatoes.
potatoes
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Sounds
a
logical.
nice little
That's
stew.
their story, and they're sticking to,
To their
it.
credit, they both sang from the same book.
Yeah.
They were both singing.
Trav,
the same
I got to
song.
ask them. What time's your guys' show till today?
3.
And then what time does the afternoon show go till?
5.
Why are they getting cut? What's going on here?
We didn't make the cut.
No. It's
Why
good.
aren't we going till 12:30?
You made the cut. We did not. They're only giving us 2 hours. They're giving you 3.
Would you like
You
no?
guys
hey,
are the valuable guys.
We'll go
Would
to-
you like
no,
to
no,
do?
no.
Would
We're
you like to do
negotiating.
another
We're-
hour? Because Mason and I'll start
Yeah,
at 2.
no, seriously.
No.
No,
We're negotiating the
we're saying
opposite.
we go till 12:30.
Yep.
You guys get on at 12:30. Go till 2:30, and then they could go till 5 o'clock. 2.5 each.
2.5.
I actually
each.
like your plan.
Yes, so do we.
I would.
We
I would
love
get
our
here,
plan.
No, I would get here at 12:30 if I got to leave at 2:30.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's more baseball coming.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, there is lots of baseball.
Super Crosstalks brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all about. We'll see you tomorrow.